And we are live.
Hello.
Hello. Um, I wanted to say well, it's like I haven't never done this before. Oh my gosh. We're live. I'm here with Sincerely Alex or Sincerely Alex Makeup on Instagram. And today is Alex's birthday. Happy birthday, Alex.
Yay! Thank you so much. And thank you for doing this live with me and
Yes.
a little get with me and stuff like that. So that should be fun. I'm excited.
Yes. So yeah, we're just gonna get ready and do our makeup. And this is a little spiel I started to say at the beginning of every video. Thank you to Audra in the chat who reminded me. If you are watching a replay, one, thank you, because I know lives are not always the same for everybody. But once YouTube has processed the video, you will be able to see the live chat along with the video, and that's the best way to rewatch a live. If you're clicking like soon after we end the live stream, you're probably not going to see it because YouTube has been processing live streams for a long time. But if you can, follow along in the live chat. And I see lots of people here. Bethany says happy birthday, and Feffy, and Mindy, and Visions of You, and Chris 805 Bird. So all of our faves are here to hang out.
Yes. Thank you so much, everyone.
And we both kind of we tossed around like makeup ideas, and we kind of came to a decision to try to use some similar products within our makeup looks. So I have my Natasha Denona Gold palette and the Cover FX Mojave Mauve Blush Duo, because I think you probably bought this after I mentioned it 5 billion times to you.
Yeah, I got mine during the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty, as I think a lot of people did.
Yeah.
My mom was going to be placing an order for a bunch of stuff, and she asked me to do it for her since she's pretty busy. And I asked her, like, is it okay if I wait to order it on this one very specific day? She's like, yeah, why? So I told her that I wanted to try and take advantage of getting some of the blush duos during that time. And she said to just throw one in and that she would get it for me.
Oh, nice.
And then we had enough Ulta points that I was able to basically afford a second one at the discounted price. So I got Mojave Mauve and I got Soft Peach, and they're both very, very lovely.
Nice. Oh, perma mask marks are the worst. Also, happy birthday to Chris's son, whose birthday is also today.
Yes. I love that energy.
I just realized how many Tauruses I know or have met recently in my life, which is amazing. Hey, Olivia, scientist in makeup, and Teresa, who is Neon Cartoon Raccoon Beauty, and Diana. I also bought more Cover FX blushes on the sale. So I'm up to 4 now. But I have to say, the 2 that you bought, Mojave Mauve and Soft Peach, are still my faves. And probably Mojave Mauve is my favorite because I'm a little blush lover and I like the pink. So I have like a basket of things over here that I'm like, I'm just gonna dig through them and find things. Let's see. Wait, I've never asked you, are you a face makeup first or eye makeup first kind of person?
I'm an eye makeup first person.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do some of my face makeup, and then this is what I do sometimes is I'll do some of my face makeup, my brows, and then I'll do my eyes, and then like blush and highlighter. So
yeah, for me, it's mostly just because I will do a lot of eyeliner. Like I'll usually do some variation of like winged eyeliner or the like. And I also, because my eyes are more downturned, it's also just been a habit of mine to do my eyes first, because then it's a lot easier for me to go in and clean up the edges so that my eyes look a little lifted.
It's funny. I always feel like I mess up my eye looks if I do my eyes first. I think it's because I am one of those people that blends out a lot and goes really watercolory. So that outer, like where I'm brushing right now, I'm like not good if I have to go back in and add more product. But I get it,
Hmm.
especially for wings, or um if I am using something really dark, or like, I guess, yeah, something where if there was fallout, it would end badly. So I'm using my glowy base thing that why did I put on my eyes? I don't know why I just put on my eyes, but I've been using it like T-zone, I guess, kind of area, forehead and cheeks and nose.
Hmm. Yeah, I haven't decided yet the exact direction that I want to go. I was telling Emily in our DMs on Instagram yesterday when we were talking about the direction that we wanted to go in for the live. She was asking like if I had a direction that I wanted to go in, and here was my vision was after our last live stream when I was talking about things that I would keep if I could only keep like a few when we were doing our if we could only keep 10 palettes video.
Mm-hmm.
Um I wanted to do a look where I incorporated this Super Shock shadow from the Butterfly collection,
Yeah.
and it's in the shade Ringlet, and it's this gorgeous, like super vibrant, like almost neon orchid pink color. It's so pretty. So I thought about doing that and maybe like using it either as like an inner, like a really vibrant inner corner, and then doing some shimmers from the gold palette over the lid, and then doing something vibrant and pinky in the crease. So I think I might do that.
That's exciting. I like the vibrant but not like light inner corner. And
Hmm.
I see comments. Let's see. Oh, MJ says happy birthday. And Deborah, hi, hello. More Taurus is in the house. Olivia does eye makeup first, and sometimes will only do eye makeup. That's fair. That's fair for sure.
Hmm.
Mindy had asked, while you are doing your makeup, could you talk about the difference in and placement of bronzer and contour? I probably won't be doing either of those today, if I'm honest, but I'm happy to talk through how I perceive the differences for sure. Let's see. Feffy does eyes first because she's clumsy. She didn't put eyeshadow all over my face. That's fair. Very fair. Um, More eyes first. And Makeup X Mukbang says happy birthday as well. So
Thank you. Thank you.
since I'm not gonna be doing any, like lately, I realized I just don't reach for bronzer outside of the summer. I don't know what it is. It just, like, once summer passed, I was just like, I don't really care about bronzer, if I'm being honest. And maybe it's
Hmm.
because I got super into blush, but even just as like a face defining thing, I just don't. It's not something I reach for these days. But if I mean, and I will say, I know I'm biased. Like, I know I really like him, but I do think Robert Welsh talks about this well, because he talks about like light and where it hits versus where shadows hit. But I would say, if I was gonna contour, like that little spot on my face where there's actually a little bit of indentation, I would probably start it here and like focus it there and blend a little down, but probably not past this point. If I wanted to, I could contour like here a little bit to kind of narrow in my forehead. People contour their noses. That's too much work. People will contour their chin or jawline. Those are probably the main places that I think of. Although anyone else in the chat can definitely jump in and add in. And then I would say bronzer, I think of it just as more as like bigger sweeping motions rather than more defined placement. So bronzer, I would personally probably do like three, the three or the E shape, kind of forehead, more more like closer to your blush placement and maybe down on my chin. And then I also like doing it across the nose, kind of like how I do with blush. But you can also consider bronzing the same spots that the sun would naturally hit, which is why I like across the nose, because like my nose will get brown or red, burnt first. And then I would say probably my cheeks. Those are probably the first places on me that get sun or get just straight up burnt. I don't know. Do you have any different approach, Alex, in terms of eyeliner?
Well, I'm not really someone who contours very much. If ever, I only ever really use bronzer. The brush that I use for bronzer is more of like a fluffy angled brush, so it has a pretty big surface area and it's a little more chiseled. So usually like I'll bronze around the hairline and then just give myself some light definition, but because it's not a very precise brush, it's not like I'm really adding too much shape to my face. It's more just getting the color back after I blank it out with my base.
Yeah, I have a tendency to use a really big brush for bronzer, but I'll also use this for my blush too. And I think what Audra said kind of nails it. Contours for creating shadow to define. Bronzer can be placed on top of a portion of that to add warmth. Or you can do, I mean, you could technically do either of those steps without doing the other step. Just depends on how you do your makeup. I would say if you're going to do contour and not add any bronzer, you'd probably want to add some blush. But you could definitely like just do bronzer and get a whole look. Well, I would say, so Mindy says watching others, it looks like they're putting blush, bronzer, and contour all in the same place. I think it really depends on the brush size, because like if I was going to do contour with my current brushes, I would probably use like a fluffy brush like this one, which is much smaller than I would use like this big honker that's both wider and like thicker. So it's more of a diffuse placement, whereas contour, I feel like you're kind of putting it slightly more concentrated and blending in some ways. But yes, and they should kind of melt into each other. That too. Sometimes people will describe it as like some people will describe cheek placement almost as like Neapolitan ice cream, like brown, pink, white, like bronzer, blush, highlighter, contour, blush, highlight. Yeah. You don't really want to do it exactly that bluntly, but sometimes that can be a nice way to imagine it. Oh, and welcome Lakeisha, since I'm going to take Chris's thing. So lay whatever is totally from Audra's chat. Was it Audra? Wait, was it making fun of Lady Gaga and her makeup because she has Le Riot or something, and it was just like, really, Gaga? Like, you're not special. Stop it. Stop it, House Beauty, with your fake French.
Reading her to Phil.
I just don't get that line, like at all. If anyone cares, I put on Becca Under Eye Corrector and then e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. And I'm putting some old ass Maybelline brow gel on my brows. Not old from when I opened it, but old from when it was released.
Hi, Keisha. I primed my eyes. I got this off of Nisa's recommendation. It's the Ulta Beauty matte eyeshadow primer. It's slightly darker than my skin tone, but it blends out just fine. And I actually don't mind it. For some reason, I thought that this had like way more product because the tube is pretty large in comparison to the Milani eyeshadow primer. But I think they have like close to the same amount of product. Yeah, well, it's slightly bigger, but the size difference quite noticeable. My Milani one is almost out. I'm so proud to almost be done with this, but the Milani one is 9 mils, and then the Ulta one is 10, which you would think it'd be like almost twice as much, but surprisingly it's deceiving. And then for outer corner, I went in, my fun size palette is rearranged, but I went in on the outer corner with the purple from the fun size palette.
I'm excited that you're doing this like pink and orchid and gold thing. You're making me think a little bit more about what I want to do now. I don't like when brands, I guess, oversize their packaging. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like especially in a tube like that, I feel like are they just adding air, and then is that going to make things dry out faster? I don't know. Maybe that's the conspiracy theorist in me. Also, let me actually look at the comments because I can't read a damn thing right now. Let's see. Oh my gosh, so many comments. Okay. MJ. Since I've been home and revisiting my makeup, I now learn why the butter bronzer by Physician Formula is so popular. At work, I use cooler bronzers to look chiseled and mean, but here at home... Oh, Alex, I think you froze. I'm going to pop you off the stream. Just come back in and you should be good. Sorry, technical difficulties. Wait, let me kick you from the studio. Yes, okay. Sorry about that, a little technical difficulties. I don't love the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer as much anymore, but that's because I like my Milani Silky Matte Bronzer a little bit more. But I also go in heavy-handed with everything, and the Butter Bronzer is, even the fairest one, is a little bit too dark for me. Yes, it's very warm and fun, the Butter Bronzer. Let's see. Let me see. Alex is... Okay. Okay. There we go.
Hello.
I was like, she froze. And then I realized I had to actually kick you from the studio for you to, like, reset yourself.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it might have been because I switched off I turned off my Wi-Fi because the feedback or the stream on your end, it sounded pretty staticky, so I thought my Wi-Fi was acting up. Anyway.
I noticed a little on your end too. It's probably both of us not using microphone. Like, I'm not using microphone.
Yeah, I mean,
Bethany asked, what's the difference between eyeshadow primer and glitter primer? So I just put on the Smashbox eye primer. This is another product that I had old in my collection that I recently opened up. And then I have the NYX glitter glue. The glitter glue is pure, straight up sticky goodness. For me, I use it for everything shimmery because I have such hooded eyes that without having it there, that constant, like, basically rubbing of the skin, a lot of shimmers would just completely fall off my eyes, either right away or within a couple hours. Primers are basically supposed to create, they have some stick to them, but they're not... If you put glitter glue all over your eye, you're never going to be able to blend anything. But if you put eye primer all over your eye, you should be able to blend things, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, my experience with glitter primer has been that I guess it really just depends, because I remember looking back on how I used to do my eyeshadow when I was first starting out in makeup. I was, I did a couple different things. I used to do my lid first, and then I used to do everything in the crease afterwards. And over time, then I moved on to doing an eyeshadow primer and then setting it with powder. And then I've now started doing primer, but then I don't set it right away. It depends on the primer that you're using too, because sometimes if you have one like the Anastasia primer, it'll dry down on its own. So you don't really need to set it with powder. But like the idea of putting eyeshadow over primer that's not set is like doing it so that you get the most pigmentation out of your
I don't set this one, but they do recommend they do recommend having it sit on your eyes for about 60 seconds. And usually what I can tell is like it gets slightly more tacky, but it still has like a little bit of that, I guess, not super silicone-y, but kind of smoother silicone feel.
Mm-hmm.
I personally find that I have a better track record with smoother blend out, even of like my most favorite shadows, versus when I don't use an eye primer. When I was using a concealer or a more concealer style eye primer, I felt like I was noticing more blotchy areas, even with some of my favorite like formulas that I, know and love. And so, like I said, I had this one kind of sitting in my collection just being ignored, and I picked it back up and I realized that I do like it. And I mean, I may not rebuy this one in particular when I'm out, but I will continue to use eye primer. And if you can't tell, I decided I'm going to do pink on my eyes today with the gold palette. But you inspired me. I'm like, let me just do my blush drapey thing that I love to do. Except I need to continue to check the comments. Let's see. Oh, Keisha says, just an FYI for anyone who might be interested, Marc Jacobs Beauty whole line is 50% off at Neiman's. I picked up a rack of eyeliner colors. Okay, every time I keep missing them on sale. Like I see that they're on sale, but then everything is sold out. I love their matte gel eyeliners. I really wanted to pick up a bunch of their gloss sticks because I like lusted after those from when they were first launched, but I refused to buy them because they were so expensive. And then right before the VIB sale started, or right before the Sephora sale started, I had some of their blushes and some of their glosses in my cart on the Marc Jacobs site, but I kept waiting and things just kept selling out. So I decided to just skip it. And yeah, Feffy basically said it. Eye primer is for the shadows to last, and glitter primer is for more flaky shimmers and glitters to pop and let them be less messy. Oh, that's interesting. Mindy said she watched a video where somebody compared the Milani gloss that's $10 to the Fenty, and Fenty was a better deal. I totally think there are times that it can make more sense to buy the high end if that's what you want. And I do really like the Fenty gloss, but at the same time, I like buying things and I like having an assortment of things. So, being able, I have them both right here. Why can't I find them? Of course I can't find them. Being able to have two colors that I like of my Milani gloss over one color of the Fenty, which again, I do love that formula, was depends on what you want.
Yeah. I see that Chris asked, what is our shadow primer?
I was gonna say, if you have a strong preference for one, go for it.
I don't really have a strong preference for one, actually. The Milani one, I mostly got it because it's like the only one that Emily Noel ever talks about. So I got that one. That one was I think it was my first eyeshadow primer. And because it takes me so long to get through them, I sort of just stuck with it until it ran out. And then I randomly got an urge to try a bunch of different eyeshadow primers. And so now I have a mini one of the ABH one. I have the CoverGirl lid lockup after Kelly Gooch and Andrea Mattiliano talked about it on their channels, which I think is just okay. I feel like it's more of a glitter glue consistency because it's quite sticky, but it's not as effective of a glitter glue as NYX glitter glue.
Oh, that's interesting because I felt like I heard multiple people rave about that, but that's good to know. I might just skip it then. I don't have really a preference except I've been using the Smashbox one. I thought I remembered liking the Milani one, although I've heard some some things between Audra and Teresa having a little bit of a reaction to Milani that makes me a little nervous to try it again. I want to actually try the ABH one because it is fair and I am fair. I feel like it might work for me in a way, but until I run out of this, which I'm slowly working my way through, I don't really need to. I would say if you have issues with glitters, not even glitter, with shimmers really showing up on your eyes, I love the NYX glitter glue. I think it's really, really fantastic, and usually it's on sale or has some points deal on Ulta. And thank you for all the blush draping. Blush drape just means it's basically just like the idea of like draping a color on your face. So blush draping is kind of this. Blush draping you could do like just the outside part. It's kind of like it's a very 80s thing, and I don't know if the term was coined in the 80s or what. Oh, Millie says happy birthday from back. Happy birthday from back to the brow.
Thank you so much, Millie. It means so much that you're here today.
Yes, thank you. And Mindy asked, do I like the Milani lippies too, or just the glosses? I've tried some of the lipsticks, and I remember the ones I've tried the lipsticks in the black tube, and those I like more than the lipsticks in the gold tube. But the lipsticks in the gold tube I haven't tried in quite a long time. I just remember them being a very like silicone kind of texture. They were super popular when I tried them, and they're not bad, but they were a little too like, they were matte but slippery at the same time, which was kind of a weird combo. But I think they're called the bold mattes are more I like the formula more. I have one or two colors from that line, so I'm not super well versed in them. I would say I think Milani kind of kills it with gloss. Oh, shit. I just went in with a really dark color that I kind of regret already, but we're just gonna keep it up, I guess. I'm like, I'll pull in the turquoise from the gold palette. Oh, the turquoise is really intense. So, it also might be the brush that I picked out, but yeah. That's interesting. Feffy says her favorite eye primer is the NARS one. It makes the weakest shadows perform well and makes everything last forever on my crinkly, greasy eyes. Sadly, it's expensive and not cruelty-free. CF is cruelty-free.
Yeah, I remember Ingrid Nilsson raving about that one when she was doing more makeup-related content, because I know she has pretty oily skin too. So it's interesting that our people are on the same page.
I know. NARS is one of those brands. I mean, I'll be honest, before they switched to not being cruelty-free, I wasn't specifically. So for me, lately I've been saying I'm trying to shop cruelty-free. I'm not a perfect person though. And also, like, if somebody wants to gift me something from a brand that's not cruelty-free, I'm not going to turn it down, just to be completely honest. Because I'm like, if you're decluttering, for example, I received a Pat McGrath palette from somebody decluttering it. I was not going to turn that down. And if people want to call me greedy for that, you can call me greedy. That's fine. But anyway, before NARS went cruelty-free, I wasn't specifically shopping cruelty-free, but before they went not cruelty-free. But I just didn't feel a pull towards them. Like, they had all this hype, and I feel like they still kind of do. And I don't know. It's just, I mean, obviously it's not the aesthetic for like a makeup lover like me, but I don't know. It's one of those brands that I kind of want to get. I want to understand the hype, but I don't.
Yeah, I forgot who it was that was talking about how when they were younger, NARS was like the shit, and then they wanted to try it so badly, and then they got into more colorful makeup, and they thought NARS was boring. And then now that they're older and they're seeing like NARS for like the sophisticated brand that it is, they're interested in it again.
I feel like I probably saw that video too. I don't remember who it was, but it sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh my, these eyes are something. Let's see.
Effie. Oh man. I remember the wave of British YouTubers around like the 2012, 2013 era of YouTube. I was subscribed to so many of them.
Agreed. I think it's funny every time Abby Williamson talks about how when she was younger, she was like one of those people that loved everything British because she thought it like made her cool. And I think for her, it probably wasn't the same kinds of British people that she loved that like I loved. But I was like, oh yeah, I know that feeling. It's just like,
yeah.
I'm lusting over a culture that I don't even really know. And yeah. But yeah, in terms of the beauty world, like Fleur de Force,
Yeah.
oh, there's so many other people now that my brain just went absolute blank. But
Tanya Burr,
oh
before
yeah,
Zoella problematic.
Yeah, Zoella and Sprinkle of Glitter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, the memories. I remember I first found, it's so funny because I found Ingrid through Elle Fowler's channel because they were really good friends at that point. And then I remember that I also found Fleur because Fleur was friends with Ingrid. And that was an interesting time. I always wonder, like, where are they now in terms of their friendship? But I know that that's other people's business. That doesn't mean that I'm not curious, though.
Curiosity, I feel like, is always a fair response. I feel like we're all curious and nosy people. I think that's just like a human nature thing.
Mm-hmm.
More human nature than just like, oh, beauty lovers are curious. No, I think just everybody is, generally speaking.
Right.
Millie says, my first high-end product that I was super excited about was the NARS Blush and Orgasm back when I thought it was so special. I mean, and part of me thinks like for the market at that time, it probably was special. Like I try to keep that perspective in mind where I'm like, I don't get the hype on blah 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 thing. And it's like if it's an older product, I have to remember that makeup has advanced quite a bit in the last couple of years, even up to the last decade. And so when we see something and we're, when we see something now and we touch it and we're like, but what was the big deal? It's like, okay, but 5, 6, 7 years ago, maybe it was better, or maybe it was just the right mix of marketing and influencers and all that shit.
Yeah.
And if anyone's curious now, I have no idea what I'm doing on my face.
So what did I use? Okay, so for anyone who, for whatever reason, wanted to recreate what I did, so this is my fun size palette that I depotted. I went in with the purple in the outer corner, and then I've mixed the purple and this more blue toned pink for the crease and the rest of my outer corner. And then I used one of the shades in the Lilac You A Lot palette from ColourPop, this like pastel orchidy color to blend out the edges. And then in my gold palette, I didn't even know what I wanted to use from the gold palette when I was going in, but I was like, what would lime chrome look like with this like orchid crease that we have going on? So I used it up here, and I'm actually like not mad at how it turned out.
I mean, lime chrome is just gorgeous anywhere and everywhere in my book. I think it's always a good idea. Okay. And then Keisha said, I don't know if Fenty is considered high-end, but I think that was like my first. Maybe it's mid-range. I mean, I think now NARS and Fenty seem like they're on the same plane, so I would say it's high-end, but Now we're talking about like, now there's luxury high end. So it's different because you're like, well, high end could be Tom Ford. So um, he was like, that's when I thought all makeup was like $20. All makeup over like $20 was outrageous. Now look at me, all strung out. I'm telling you, it happens. Diana says orgasm was the end all be all of blushes. I mean, Linda, it sounds like you were hot shit. Her first high end was Mac and Chanel. Yeah, and Feffy says the thing is, back in the day, that stuff was good because the more affordable indie brands hadn't stepped up their game. Now we have better formulas that makes what used to be special not so special. now Linda waits for the TJ Maxx releases. I'm telling you, this is not to be like, I miss TJ Maxx. I was gonna say like not to be whatever, but just like when things are all whenever I don't know, whenever the new normal happens. To be honest, that's one of my favorite places to shop. Not just for like beauty or stuff, but just generally speaking for all the things.
Oh, I miss TJ Maxx.
Yeah, I don't be like, oh my god, life is not the same without them, because obviously that's very over dramatic. But I do really enjoy shopping in that store. I'm gonna pull in a little mustard over here. Kind of. Oh, maybe not. Just making regretful choices at every turn.
making questionable makeup decisions.
Yeah, I was like, mustard in the inner corner, that will work. No, this mustard looks extremely dark on me right now.
The eyeliner that I'm using is the brown brush tip eyeliner from Cosmetics. I really, really love this one. If any of you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen that I did go ahead and reprint. This is my second one, my second tube. I really like this one. I loved the black one. I bought it when it originally launched back in 2017, and I know that because I remember at the time Cosmetics wasn't delivering to PO boxes, so I wasn't able to have it delivered to my PO box that I had in college. So my best friend who lived off campus let me use her address so that I could have my order delivered to her house, and she would bring it to me. And she gave it to me the day that we were doing graduation rehearsal. So that I graduated in 2017, and I got the black brush tip eyeliner as well as the Infinite Lip Cloud in Faded Clementine. Ugh, both such good products.
Cosmetics is one brand I still have yet to shop from, but I hear amazing things about their customer service, like online. So I don't know. I need to find the right like combo of releases to just buy from. Let's see. More comments. Diana says, I used to think NARS, Beck, and all those were high end, and now we see stuff like Chantecaille, Tom Ford, and wow. Yeah. Linda, like, I really want the Norvina Pro Pigment palette, but I know it will show up at TJ Maxx. I don't know. I will say ABH has been having like buy one, get one 50% off sales lately, and like 30% off of all eyeshadow palettes lately. I don't need those big palettes, but the green and the blue ones, the 2 and 3, are so tempting, and I'm just like, I must resist. And I agree with Audra. Plus, a lot of the old guard high-end brands got stagnant. Hey, Cherokee, and hello, Mama Deb Beauty. She says happy birthday to you.
Hello, thank you.
Bethany says, I still can't do $100 plus eyeshadow palettes. Shoot, my poor ass struggles when it's over $40. Part of me can't imagine that any powder can be worth that much, but I have no idea. I mean, we've talked about this palette in our last live stream, me and Alex, where like I quite like it, but I also realize how absolutely ridiculous it is to buy a palette like this. Now, for me, I didn't spend I didn't spend the year. I got it on sale, but it was close to $100. Like, it was basically $100. But I would say, if the thing is everything is dupeable. So if you see a palette like this and you're like, I really love lime chrome, I can tell you, well, Vanessa's Vanity is a indie makeup brand that has a color called Samba that, according to
Yeah.
Amy Loves Makeup, is a dupe. I do not personally own it, but I would believe Amy because I know she loves this palette and she knows her indie shit. So I would say, like, everything is dupeable. It's not going to be it's not going to be like, it's not always affordable to dupe out a full palette in singles, but if you're drawn to like 2 or 3 shadows, a lot of times it's better just to buy, if you like single eyeshadows, to buy a couple of singles.
That's what I was going to say too, was that people like Angela Mary Tanner on Instagram do a really good job about presenting dupes for certain shades in different palettes. So if there's a different palette that's like a newer release, I would check her out as well, because she might have something for you if you're looking for a dupe to a specific shade.
And I'm with you, Keisha. I like a mix. Like, she mainly has mid, high end, and indie. Like, I have some drugstore stuff that I love. Mostly, well, not mostly, but like lip products, some concealers. And then I really love indie eyeshadows. I don't generally find mid range and high end eyeshadows to be worth it, in my opinion, even though I'm using one. But I usually use a mix for sure. Let's see. Linda asked, what is a good glitter-esque liner? I bought all the DKB liners, but I don't like them much. What is DKB? I don't know that brand. And when you say glitter-esque, like, do you mean like glitter in a tube with a little brush, or might need a little clarity? And ABH is totally struggling. I would agree. Cherokee says, I just bought the JD Glow glitter liners and really like them. And then she also asked if I got my JD Glow package. The liners are gorgeous. I should be getting it today, I think. I got one of the glitter liners. I got, I think, 2 singles and one of their highlighters is, I think, what I got. Maybe I got 3 singles. I don't know. I think I just got 2. Maybe 3. Anyway, so it's like a little bit of a mixed bag. Feffy's funny. My line of demarcation between high-end and luxury is Michelle Wong reviewing it. I watch all her vids because it's like my makeup ASMR, but I can never afford that stuff. I mean, every once in a while she'll review like a Melt palette. She reviewed the Smoky Glow palette. So, you know, she dips in. Not always, but sometimes.
Yeah.
I love her though. I love her personality.
Yeah, I think being a rewards member at Ulta has really like opened my eyes to the different tiers of higher end brands, because I feel like a high end is probably like the most vague, and then you have like what's considered a prestige brand, because that's the wording that Ulta uses for their coupons whenever they send out like 20% coupons. They'll say that it's not eligible on prestige brands, so anything that's not categorized as like affordable or drugstore. So that's how I think of it. Like prestige would be like Urban Decay, Becca, Stila, brands like that. And then to me, luxury is like Chanel, like all of the designer ones.
Yeah, for sure. And I do think, without even trying all the glitter liners from JD Glow, I do feel like you probably just need one, Linda, to try, because a lot of them look very similar, for sure. Let's see. And I agree with Audra that face, sometimes powders can make a difference because how it's milled. Like, a lot of my favorite face well, I've really only, honestly, lately I've only really used more mid-range brands like Too Faced and ABH, and I actually have a Fenty loose powder that I just haven't dug into because I think I think everyone's been noticing. But if you've been watching my channel, I've been talking about how I'm not using powder really much at all lately. So things are a little different. I also wanted to show, I don't know how it's going to be, how visible it's going to be on this camera, But I just applied lime chrome on this eye with no glitter glue. I'm going to end up going in and adding glitter glue and adding another layer. But to me, it's like a much more sheer application, more of like a translucent topper, which totally works for some people, but it's not what I want. So I wanted to show you, if it's noticeable, what it looks like when you use glitter glue. Because, like I said, because of my eye shape and because I like glitter and shine and all of that, I want as much of that as humanly possible. And I don't find this to be a hassle at all. If my eye shape was different and I didn't have that to consider, I totally understand why people are like, nah, I don't feel like doing that. But I find it really important. And I also think that with glitter glue, it's really good to tap or pat it in place rather than swipe, because since it is sticky, sometimes if you swipe, for me, it almost feels like I'm trying too hard to drag the product. And I know in person it's very obvious, but I don't know how obvious it is on camera, the difference between the two. But this side came through much more saturated, and like, I don't want to go back and build and build and build. It's just kind of ready to go. And I always have this tendency to bring my shimmers up into my crease because it's going to happen naturally anyway. So I've just been embracing that. So yeah, that's why I lean on glitter glue, because I just find the difference to be remarkable. Linda commented about she wishes Angela Marie Tanner would use more drugstore brands. To be completely honest, I don't think there are good drugstore eyeshadows out there, but that's my take on it.
Ooh, hot takes.
I mean, yeah, I can't think of any that I would like specifically recommend as worth it.
Well, she uses a lot of color pop, so I guess that's
that's
probably
true.
like
Color pop, yeah.
as I could get. Someone asked earlier, Bethany asked what bougie powders we would recommend. The bougiest powder that I've ever used is, I had a travel size of the Hourglass loose translucent powder, and that one was just okay. I mean, I've been on this like journey of trying to figure out like what powder is the best for me, because my skin type, for anyone who doesn't know, my skin is technically on the oilier side. Like, my skin's not overly oily, but it definitely does get oily throughout the day. So the Hourglass one was very lightweight. I know that a lot of people I watch who have drier skin really enjoy it, so that could be an option. The one that I have currently that I'm working on is the Milk Makeup one. The Milk Makeup loose translucent powder is nice. My best friend who has drier skin likes to use it for baking, because even though she has dry skin, she doesn't like her skin to be like tacky and dewy. So she likes it for baking. I don't think it's bad, although I will say that I prefer this one, the e.l.f. Halo Glow setting powder. I got it at Target. It's like $8, and it leaves the skin looking so nice and like not flat, but it's not like you're putting like loose highlighter all over your face either. Which I'd imagine is kind of what the Laura Mercier illuminating setting powder is like. Allie Glines actually did a video where she used it as a highlighter. Like, she concentrated it on her cheekbones, and she did get a subtle glow from it. So if you want a multi-purpose powder that gives you like a slight sheen, not super glowy, I would recommend the e.l.f. one, because I really like the way it looks, especially on the under eye area.
I've been seeing that one around, but I've also picked up loose powders like that before, and it be not specifically from e.l.f., but in the drugstore, and it just be like basically a container of loose highlighter. I have a mini of the Hourglass loose powder. I do quite like that one. I think it's really nice if you're specifically just looking to feel bougie. I would say, and some people would love it like above and beyond. I've been enjoying the ABH loose powder. I like that it's a bigger container. It's a little easier to like get a brush in, or I don't think it's technically that much more product. Maybe it is. I haven't checked that. And I've only used a couple times. I do like the Fenty powder, but I hear that that's really only good for like truly more oily skin. People with drier skin have mentioned that it's like a little too heavy. Yeah, I would say anything like if you can try it or try to get a sample or a deluxe sample size, that would be the ticket. I also hear actually I've touched the Chanel powders in person, the blurring one and the really glowing one. They feel amazing, but I'm not spending $88 on a pressed powder right now.
Or what about did you ever end up swatching or touching the ones from Chantecaille that Teresa got because of
Yes, that's
Michelle?
what I was saying. Did I say Chanel? I think I meant to say Chantecaille.
Yeah, you said Chanel.
The Chantecaille, the really glowy one and the more blurring one. And somebody in chat, Haryati, says that brands that Michelle Wong or Morgan Turner, etc. use, sometimes they're sponsored. It's their way to finance their YouTube canal. Unfortunately, I can't afford those brands they use. So I'm just gonna say, because I don't think everything is sponsored. What I think that if they have a sponsored video, they say it's sponsored. So I just want to say that. Like, I don't think that everything that they use is sponsored. I think that they do get probably a lot of PR. I don't watch Morgan Turner in particular. I do watch Michelle, though. I think they get a lot of PR. And I know they do get, I know she had a whole Pat McGrath basically sponsored video. But I also don't always I'm not against sponsorships. I guess I should just say that. I'm not against sponsorships. I think they get a bad rap because people are doing them and they're not disclosing. But I think if you're disclosing your sponsorship and you're being very clear, then I think there's nothing wrong with it. And obviously, if every video somebody does is sponsored, that's fucking shitty. But I think that if you get sponsorships and they're sprinkled within other content that's not sponsored, I don't think there is anything wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
That's my take on it. I
Yeah.
don't know if you feel differently.
I don't know. I guess it just depends because I know that your perspective is a little different as someone who is a regular YouTube content creator.
Mm-hmm.
But for someone like myself who's been, I've been watching YouTube for a really long time, and I used to feel some type of way about things that were sponsored. I used to be a little bit, I think I was swayed by other people not liking sponsored content, and then as I got older I started to think more for myself, and I think I mentioned it either during our first live stream or the last one that we did about all of the work that goes into producing regular YouTube content if it is your main source of income. So I think now I'm a lot more open-minded about that stuff. I understand that you want to diversify your income, and if you get a sponsorship offer from a brand that you genuinely like and you're properly disclosing it, then that's amazing.
Yeah, and the thing is that to be able to get to a point in which you are doing this YouTube thing full time, you have to do a fuck ton of unpaid work. Because even now, obviously this is my perspective, I have had pretty good growth for it's been over a year for me, but it still feels slow and steady. I've made officially $100. That's been my payout so far. Not mad about it at all. Very happy about it. But I also feel like, so I've talked to Audra about this a fair amount, recently. We've talked about it, and so if anybody is like we don't care or whatever, you can comment in chat. I won't be mad about it. But I just thought I would give my take on it. I think that it's really easy to I mean, I think as a viewer, it can feel okay. Here's a couple of things. I think as a viewer, sometimes the jealousy that's inherent with like seeing somebody get free shit and get paid or get paid to talk about that thing. Most of the time I feel like they're getting the free product and getting paid. I feel like that 1-2 punch, especially if you're like just struggling and just trying to get makeup that excites you, or if you're a smaller creator and you're like, man, I wish I could get that. Like, I think that it can be very easy to let those feelings override. But I also think that making people feel bad about sponsorships, one, is how brands continue to do undisclosed sponsorships because they don't want the backlash of one of their clients basically in their advertisements. And it also like it really undermines the amount of work that goes into making a whole video or posting a bunch of swatch photos on Instagram or any mix of different things. Like, I think it really undermines the amount of work specifically that goes into like video editing and creation. And it can very much, like, every time I hear creators that are just like, oh, I would never do sponsorships, to me it's also like inherently saying, oh, everybody that does them is like immoral or isn't trustworthy. And I just want people to like let me know when they're doing sponsorships, and then I can make the decision myself on if I feel comfortable continuing to watch the video, clicking on the video in the first place, um, taking their thoughts on the product at all. So that's like a very brief take on my thought of it. Yeah, and Diana says, I don't mind sponsorships, but I would like for brands to be more mindful of what people they are choosing. Totally, absolutely. And that's kind of the annoying part, is like sometimes I see certain people getting sponsorships and then I'm like, really? That's a good. Oh,
That was a choice.
I'm gonna judge in my corner. Exactly. That was a choice. Also, this is very smart. Keisha says she keeps photos of her palettes in her phone and compares before like buying, like clicking the button. Very smart.
Yes, I wish I was more thoughtful like that.
Same. Diana says it'd be cool if they gave opportunities to people that are known for loving and using their products. For example, Pat McGrath doing sponsorships with people like Kinky Sweat, Kelsey Brianna. I feel like, has she? I think I kind of assumed that she has done sponsorships with that person, or both, not that person, both of those creators. But I could be wrong. I don't know. I just remember recently that Michelle had that sponsored video ad. It was a sponsored video, but Keisha says, the way I buy based off of influencers are when I watch their declutter videos. I see what they keep and then I look into it more. That is very smart. Also, wait, I missed one. Hey Barry, welcome. It is Alex's birthday, and that is Alex on the second half of the screen.
Yay!
Let's see. Naomi says, I'm for some reason wanting the JD Glow summer vibes and the new packaging and the new red orange they are releasing too. Although I have those shades over and over. Must push past it. I can understand that. I can't say I've been very good at pushing past those feelings completely. Cherokee asked, give me glow. Actually, JD Glow has some singles that are like a summer juicy orange and red. And I know Give Me Glow has their spicy palette coming out in a couple months. Chris 805 Bird asked, I'm naive. How can you tell if it's a paid sponsorship but they aren't disclosing? Can you name a repeat offender? So the best thing I would say is that actually oh my gosh, why did I just blank? Kenya. as told by Kenya, who does like commentary and I guess drama, you could say, but also just does some really good, I would say she's more commentary. She did a video about this, and I would say off the top of my head, I can't think of specific repeat offenders, but I think some of the wording that the clues that she mentioned, which I completely agree. So if someone's doing a favorites video or a full face of first impressions, and they put on this, they put on that, they're just generally talking about the product, and then they pick up their mascara and they're like, oh yeah, and this that I just got, this new blah 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 brand mascara, that's $19, and it's at Sephora now, it's linked in the description box, and it's supposed to have, and like they go on and on and on about benefits of the product, or like what they're claiming it will do for you. Once you kind of understand what you're looking for, you will see it in a lot of videos. So basically, I always say if someone is talking even more descriptively, more detailed about a product that's just a favorite or just a first impression take on something, it might be undisclosed. I would say it probably is undisclosed, but if you want to be cautious, you could say it might be undisclosed. I think the thing that's happening, and this is something that so as told by Kenya talked about this, and Amanda Beebe also talked about this. Basically, yeah, Amanda Beebe and Julia Mazzucato did a collab about like makeup conspiracy theories that was really good. And I think Amanda and Julia talked about how sometimes people can have ongoing contracts with a brand. So they might be consistently getting paid by a brand, and that contract just mentions that they have to mention a product in every month, like once a month or something. And they don't necessarily have to disclose it because it's a contract, and maybe because they disclosed it once. Like that's the part that gets sketchy. That's the part that not sketchy from the creators that are saying this, but like the Julia or Amanda, but sketchy in the like, that does feel like it's just undisclosed and should be illegal. So if I can add those links in anytime soon, I'll add those 3 videos in the description box. Once you start hearing it, it's kind of hard to miss.
Yeah, one of the ones that I watched both, that's actually how I found this channel, was from her collaboration with Julia a couple of weeks ago, where they were talking about that. They were more like the broader scope of their video had to do with like conspiracy theories in the beauty community, and undisclosed sponsorships was one of them. And they both happened to talk about, I think they both did, about BoxyCharm and how so many like monthly BoxyCharm unboxings, and it's so widespread, and it's not even just like mid-tier creators, because I know that Andrea Mattiliano does a monthly BoxyCharm thing. So does Lauren May Beauty. Manny MUA. Yeah, and then so does Kathleen. And so you have all of these like YouTubers like at different tiers throughout the community doing monthly BoxyCharm unboxings, and it makes you wonder, like, is all of this organically produced hype because people are just that excited about a subscription box?
Well, and I think specifically with like BoxyCharm, it's one thing to be gifted the box every month or whenever it comes out. Like, and so okay, that's PR. But then the fact that they're gifted it and then consistently doing content on that, that's where I feel like there must be some other form of payment, because as we all know, just because it's PR does not mean, especially these bigger creators, they don't have the capacity to do videos on every single product they get PR. And they wouldn't do that because it's unpaid work and it's setting them up in a bad precedent for other brands. So then I'm like, okay, so then there's some other payment that's, in my opinion, exchanging hands, because they're not doing free work.
Right.
And like, I know Lauren May Beauty always says she pays for that box. So, you know, do I trust her more because I follow her and I like her content? Yes. If something came out and she was one of the people that was, you know, getting paid by BoxyCharm, would I be totally shocked? Probably not. I'd probably be a little disappointed, but not totally shocked. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but all these big box subscription things, I wonder, but especially I do think, especially with BoxyCharm, that it's kind of an issue. Wait.
Yeah.
So many comments. Oh, wait. I gotta scroll all the way back up. Oh my gosh.
I agree, Keisha. She said that she hates subscription boxes. I wouldn't say that I hate them, but they're definitely not really. They're not really my thing. I got a BoxyCharm 2 or 3 times. I actually subscribed because the Alamar Reina del Caribe Volume 1 was in the one for like June or July of last summer. And I subscribed specifically because I wanted it, and it was a better value getting it part of BoxyCharm than buying it on its own. So I did BoxyCharm for that, and then I forgot to cancel it after my second month. And it just felt like products that I got in my BoxyCharm around that time were just okay. They were not the greatest, and I didn't feel like it was worth the money. Before that, I had the Sephora Play Box, which I heard is like no longer in existence anymore.
No, it's not. But I think it's now gonna just like it's being revamped as like just samples or something stupid. I could be wrong, but that's what I think I heard.
I think it's like I think it's gonna be like a point perk type thing, or like you can get stuff that would have come in the boxes for like a sale price on the Sephora sale page. I feel like I've seen stuff like that before.
Oh, okay. Well, they did sell some of their little play boxes. But I wanted to go back. I saw some other, let's see, other comments. Okay. Oh, so Linda asked, how are brands like JD Glow and Give Me Glow making stuff, but Menagerie says they can't because of ingredients shortages from COVID? It really comes down to how much product you pre-purchased, how much material you pre-purchased. You know, if you're a kind of brand that's like running on a very shoestring raw material kind of quantity, then you are used to just like regularly reordering material as you sell through your existing stock. But with COVID, you can't do that. Whereas a brand like JD Glow or Give Me Glow may have either shadows already made, so they're just running through their stock, or they have the raw material to be making new product. So it's just how, you know, it's the capital you have accessible to you and how you have your system set up and all these things. So I understand it. Like, I don't think it's sketchy. I think it's just that every you know, every brand is kind of doing their own thing. And then Diana, I wanted to say, so there was 2 Pat McGrath videos I kind of referenced. There was the collaboration between like Kelsey Brianna J, Kinky Sweat, Michelle, Mel, and a couple other people. But then Michelle also had another video going up that went up around a similar time frame that was sponsored by Pat McGrath. Let's see. Yeah, and Julia Mazzucato has done videos on undisclosed sponsorships and videos and posts that look like ads from a mile away. Feffy said they are very interesting videos. Let's see. And yeah, Audra says, I think they sound like they're reading a script I can't see. That's for sure. There are certain selling points. So, you know, if it's a new product and they have their Sephora page live, but they're not selling yet, in the details of that product, they're gonna have selling points, which are basically like the benefits or the things they're highlighting. Those are written selling points that you're probably gonna hear out of the mouths of somebody that's specifically like disclosed, sponsored, or undisclosed. Oh, that's interesting. Diana says Every girl did a video using one of Pat's palettes and talking about their favorites and fails. And there was some tea because Pat liked some, but she ignored others. That's frustrating. Huh. Yeah. And Feffy, I agree. Feffy says if a creator uses wording they never use on a vid, that's got to be a script. Like, I feel like there's, maybe it's because I have worked in customer service and sales, and I know that like I have a customer service voice, and I would be this person that's like, oh, these fucking customers are paying my ass. I can't deal with it. Phone rings. Hi, Emily speaking. How can I help you? Like, just like switches. And it's like, not even something I meant to do. It just happens. And sometimes I can catch those things in videos, like nowhere near as obvious, but just like a slight tweak to their personality, to their wording or whatever, where I can tell they're really paying attention to what they're saying in the midst of a video where they might just be like fluttering about talking about different products. So yeah. Oh yeah, Kenya does make me a little anxious because she's high energy, but when she like has a topic I'm really interested in, I like that. And Diana says, I think Morphe was the big catalyst for people disliking sponsorships. Well, Morphe's whole like affiliate codes without disclosing that you make any money off these codes was definitely a big thing, for sure. And then, yes, Naomi says, when you start to see some random product reviewed by all of a sudden everyone, give your feelers up. Like a certain thing releases and all of a sudden it's in like an April favorite here, an April favorite there, a full face of first impressions here, this, that, and like just like within like a 2-week time span, you're seeing it in like all these different mid-range or larger influencer videos. I feel a little weird. / I feel like it's probably sponsored.
Going back to Kenya's videos, I started watching her like only like less than a month ago. It was actually, I started watching her because Amanda mentioned her in one of her videos, and I was like floored because I love so much of Kenya's videos. I loved the video that she put up. I think it was over the weekend. I was watching it on Saturday as I was doing my makeup, and it was a video she did talking about her frustrations with celebrities trying to like gather up donations from like regular everyday people for like relief funds and stuff. Like, I think her title was Stop Asking Poor People for Money. And I thought that was hilarious and also very true.
Yes, that is very true and also hilarious. I don't think I'm actually subscribed to Kenya, which I should change that. And Amanda is somebody. I'm sorry, I was trying to talk while putting on lip gloss. That's a bad idea. Amanda is somebody whose face looks really familiar to me and her like voice seems very familiar, but I feel like I only found her just a couple weeks before her collab with Julia, like just a few weeks. Diana said in Julia Mazzucato's last video, she mentions how BoxyCharm started sending her monthly boxes, even though she never gave them her address. The only reason why, for her in particular, when she says that I feel a little less creeped out is because she does have management. And so it's possible that that management got that information. And Olivia says, about BoxyCharm, Kathleen Lights is the first content creator I saw do an unboxing. Her sister and her friend, the owner of Alamar, worked for BoxyCharm too. I knew about the Alamar thing for sure. Oh, Wake Up for Makeup, thank you, but it's actually Alex's birthday, not my birthday. I'm a November baby.
It's okay, honest mistake.
Yes. And yeah, Mindy says also when you see a creator is definitely trying to sell a product, not just reviewing it, using it. That's what I mean about like, and it's going to be available on April 10th at Sephora.com. It'll be linked in the description box. And like, it's the only product they say that for. It's the only product that they're like, here's the release date, here's the price, here's the URL, here's 3 selling points. And then for the rest, they're just like, oh, I really love this face cream. It's so moisturizing. And like they move on. It's just, it's an interesting thing. Like once you start, for me, once I started paying attention to it, it's a little disturbing how, yeah.
You can't unwitness it.
Exactly. Oh, Audra said, Alex, I like that video too. I'm old, so they've been saying that since they used to do the AIDS concerts. Yeah. It never made sense to me. I'm like, you're a rich person asking me for money, asking other people for money, when you literally, from the last movie you did, could donate more than all of us combined and probably help find a cure. Oh, Audra says, I'd say if you... Oh, go ahead.
One of the points that like really got to me was Kenya said something along the lines of if we as regular people put money towards those things, like so many of us, like we're nowhere near the level of income of billionaires. So in essence, we're passing around the same dirty money to each other. Like whether you donate to like this cause or money that someone else donates to a cause somehow helps you, like we're all passing around the same few $100s,
Yeah.
but the impact is very small relative to what these billionaires could be doing with their own money instead of asking us for our money.
She is so good with those like saying shit like that, or I'm just like, ugh, the way you put those words together made me feel a thing.
Yes.
And usually the thing is disgust at the person or whatever she's talking about because she is right and that person is garbage or that situation is garbage. And I wanted to go back to, so Audra says, I'd say if you're ever nervous that someone has an undisclosed sponsorship, watch some of their other reviews. Watch mannerisms, tone, and body language. That'll tell you what you need to know. Yes, I totally agree with that. Yeah, and that's exactly right. Yeah, when they're giving full selling points on a product, and then they're like, so I'm gonna put on some mascara, and then they don't like even talk about the mascara. It's like, okay, it's a 15-minute video, and 4 minutes of the video are about one product. That's a bad sign. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mindy says, like big companies donating a portion of what poor people buy. Just give the damn money and let me keep mine. Exactly.
Yes.
Oh, I can't even read this out loud because it like makes me so frustrated. But Bethany, yes, like,
Odd.
Rage, pure rage.
Someone showed an infographic of him on Instagram about how his net worth increased by like 100 billion just from the months of like it jumped 100
like
million or 100 billion in like a month. That's wild. That shouldn't be happening.
I definitely have a big blob of gold shadow on my cheek. That's fun. Today it's been a special day for my makeup, but then again, I don't mind showing that because I feel like you can see, like, it's just makeup. It washes off in the end.
Exactly. So my day so far has consisted of my one of my cousins. So I had a really hard time going to sleep last night. It's been like really hot, which is weird because in all of my years, today I'm turning 25, and in all of my birthdays, I don't think it's ever been this warm, which is nice, but it's also concerning because, you know, climate change is a thing.
It is real, despite what people like to say.
Oh my god. So a part of me feels guilty. Like, should I be enjoying this warm weather because, like, we could be dying soon? I don't know. I'll wear something cute to take my mind off of it.
Oh yeah, I think somebody asked earlier, do you have any big plans for the day after getting ready? Because Alex is 3 hours behind. She's in California.
Yes, I'm in California. So, I don't really know. I mean, I woke okay, so I woke up to a FaceTime call from one of my cousins and she was wishing me a happy birthday. I didn't fall asleep last night until like close to 2 in the morning. I was in bed around midnight. I was helping my grandma draft an email, so she wanted to like send it before we went to bed and stuff. So I was like, okay, fine, like I'll help and then I'll go to sleep. And I forgot I should have taken some melatonin, to be quite honest, because these last couple of days with how hot it's been and how hot it gets in my room, it's been so hard to fall asleep and also stay asleep. So I didn't fall asleep until close to 2 a.m. And so I had my alarm set for like 8:50 because as I've been chronicling to Emily this whole time, I've been trying to snag a Rouge reward from Sephora. And I don't even want to talk about Sephora like as a corporation, but as far as like I have the points, I figured I might like I'm not gonna really use them for anything else, so I might as well just try to get a Rouge reward. But because the VIB sale is going on right now, it's been so freaking difficult to try and get one. So didn't happen for me today. Unfortunately, the birthday deities were not on my side. But yeah, so I ended up just staying awake. I've had a couple of texts and Facebook messages and Instagram DMs of people wishing me happy birthday, which is really, really sweet of everybody. And thank you all for all of your birthday wishes. I my one of my family members, my mom's side of the family is from Nicaragua, and my dad's side of the family is Mexican. Um, so it was like always weird growing up because I'm very, very white passing, whereas my family, like it looks like a classic, like pick the one that doesn't belong. Compared to my mom's side as well as my dad's side. So anyways, one of my family members here on my mom's side, in Nicaragua, we have like our own version of tamales that are a little bit different. Instead of corn masa, they use potato-based masa. So she tried her hand at some, and my grandpa picked some up on his way home on Friday. And so we just keep them in the freezer until they're ready to be eaten. And so I had that today for my breakfast, which was delicious. I actually started off my morning eating some Fruit Loops, which is my favorite cereal. It's the best cereal. Don't at me. And so I had a small bowl of Fruit Loops, and then while I waited for my nakatamale to cook, or I guess reheat because it was already cooked. And then my aunt dropped by, and she's so cute. She's very like crafty and she loves to bake. So she dropped by the house and she dropped off a little basket for me. And it had like a little card with it was the cutest thing. I'll have to share it on my Instagram stories, but it was like a couple of animals like piled on top of each other. It was a sloth, a koala, and a cat, and they're sleeping, and it was the cutest thing. So she had a card, she had some fun socks, a bottle of rosé, some flowers. It was the cutest thing. And then she also baked last night, so she brought me some she made two different types of bread. She made a banana chocolate chip bread, and then she made a strawberry banana bread with some cream cheese icing left over from my birthday cake. And so I had that with some iced coffee before we streamed. So it's been pretty good so far. My partner and I are going to attempt to make some avocado tacos, like fried avocado tacos, because guess who decided it was a good idea to spend $13 on a grocery store magazine filled with recipes for stuff you could make in an air fryer? Me.
I'm telling you, I feel like
So
everyone I know has an air fryer lately. It makes me want to pick one up real bad.
yeah. Yeah, my aunt is letting me use hers. I think she got hers from Best Buy for like $80, which is really not bad when you consider that it's basically like a tiny oven.
Oh, and Cherokee mentioned that she was able to get a big one of her Rouge rewards by calling customer service. But I know Alex has had this experience just lately and was unable to get them to actually give her reward. So I don't know. Maybe you got very lucky with your Rouge reward, or
I
with your
know.
customer service experience, I should say, Cherokee.
Yeah. Chris, I am in the Bay Area. So it's not 91 degrees, but it feels like it might as well be.
It got really warm, so I went out this morning for the first time in a while, and it was like chilly, and I had a jacket on, and I was almost like maybe I needed more layers, and then by the time I got home, which was like 12:30, it had gotten quite warm outside. But I immediately came in and put a sweater on because my apartment stays kind of, well, I don't know what it is today. Usually I actually keep it a little bit warm because I prefer warm weather, but I was feeling cozy. Also, those tamales do sound amazing, and I agree. I love a tamale. All the tamales.
Yeah, they're unique. I mean, they typically so like inside, and I guess traditionally you'll do the masa with like potato entirely. But a lot of times you mix in like some rice into it, a little bit of some people will cut it with like regular corn masa, but traditionally they're filled with like some type of like fried pork, tomato, potatoes, some people will put raisins, bell peppers, and it's a really like it's a really hearty breakfast. It's
Yeah.
pretty heavy. So I'm surprised that I was able to finish like pretty much all of it to myself. But yeah, we used to have a family friend that made a little business out of selling them because I've never made them myself, but it's a pretty labor intensive process.
Yeah.
So
Imagine.
she used to make them so good, and she ended up retiring and moving back to Nicaragua to spend her retirement. So we bought some nacatamales from her last batch before she left, and we were like rationing them out like if they were gold. They were very precious. They were so good. I don't think we really found anybody who has made them as close to being as delicious as she did. So it's an art form to make them well for sure.
Also, deep fried avocados are they're so good as a taco or straight up. I will trust you that that drink is good. The Russian, so Bethany says my favorite bar has avocados, deep fried avocados. That with a Russian gardener is very missed, and a Russian gardener is a drink with fresh carrot and ginger juice with vodka. I'm not so much of a fan of like sweeter vegetables juice. Like I don't like. I love a Bloody Mary or like a spicy Bloody Mary, Bloody Margarita, but I don't really like tomato juice, and I don't really like carrot juice. But maybe in that format with the ginger and the vodka, I could get down with.
Yeah. My what was like, oh, I was gonna show the magazine. It's actually a Good Housekeeping magazine. It looks like this.
Oh, nice.
So like all these easy air fryer recipes, and I feel okay. I was definitely salty that it was a $13 magazine, but at the same time, like I appreciate the work that went into this. This is like almost 100 pages long. All of the pictures are very high quality. I'm sure it took a while to edit all of these recipes together to make the magazine. There's also like a page near the very back that has
Ah,
different models of air fryers that they've ranked according to what you're looking for.
hmm.
So
It's kind of
let
like
me
a
see if I can
softback
find
book.
the. Yeah, exactly. It's so funny. I saw a meme the other day that was talking about like how people will buy a bunch of books and they'll never read them. That's kind of how I feel with cookbooks and things that I want to cook. Like
Yeah,
I'll end up spending more money like buying the cookbook or buying the magazines than I
yeah.
will on ingredients to actually make what's in it. But here's the fried avocado
Ooh,
picture that they have.
that looks so good.
Yeah.
I
They
finally,
look really good.
yeah. Oh, they look great. I finally found tortillas when I was out, corn tortillas. They're not like the best, like they're not my ideal quality. I mean, I don't always get like the fanciest or most whatever homemade, but it was better than nothing because they've been out of stock everywhere. So I'm like, it might be taco night around here more often now that I have them.
Mhm.
um,
Yeah. Oh, going back to the topic of
yeah, same.
bougie powders.
Uh huh.
Um, Going back to bougie powders. Well, this one isn't like that bougie, but I feel like Jouer as a brand gives off bougie vibes, even though they're not bougie in terms of price point, which I guess is good because you
Yeah.
get the aesthetic and the experience using something luxury without having to pay like Pat McGrath prices. Um, I got their pressed powder, the soft focus, hydrate, and set powder. I have good
Huh.
tan in it. I'm really happy with that.
Wow.
Um, yeah, I think I bought this back in September. It's really not that great if you have oily skin and you think it's going to like set your makeup in place for a long time because it definitely doesn't. So I've been using it mainly to like set areas of my face that I plan on going in with like bronzer or things that I just want to blend well on my
Mhm.
skin so that my face isn't tacky. And it's perfect for that.
Nice. I just haven't been drawn to like pressed powders at all. I have some that I'm trying to work through, but even if I do use a powder, which like I said, I haven't really been using them lately, I will lean on a loose powder. The thing with Jouer is Jouer, I feel like, or Jouer or whatever, I feel like they have a slightly more bougie visual, and I think their price point is still like moderate, like it's not cheap by any means, but I almost feel like their whole influencer thing is kind of cheapens the brand in a way. Like they were really
Hmm.
hyped up for a long time, and everyone like loves the highlighters and all of this, but in a way it almost like lessened the brand because I was just like, okay, like stop shoving it down my throat. But also I think Audra is right. It's the name. Anything that sounds French sounds expensive. It sounds so fancy, as Peppy says.
Yes, that's very true.
I do
I'm
think
gonna
they have a
see if I
nice
can open up.
blush formula, but I don't even reach for those blushes now that I have my bar of soap blushes. I also put on, since I was telling y'all what I was putting on my face, I put on some little iridescent stars on my inner corner that I've done on video before from Midas, and then I layered oh, my two wow my two Milani glosses on my lips. So Fanny Pack is the pink one and Teen Spirit is the nude one, and I put them both on. I noticed they have a little bit of a tendency to do like a white ring on the inside part of my lip if it's not exfoliated well, but otherwise these are still a favorite of mine.
So I can't decide if I want to do, maybe I'll do what you have been doing, like with a cream blush as a base and then going over it with a powder blush. I think that could be cute.
Yeah, I like that. And depending on that can be good either if you're like if you have a more softly pigmented powder blush, it can help increase that, or if you want to like use a more creamy matte cream blush and a more shimmery powder blush or things like that. It's fun to just mix.
Yeah. So I have the infamous brush that Millie and I have both talked about from ColourPop in the brush roll, the F20. For anyone who didn't catch that stream, I was talking about how this brush is really good for cream blushes. I think that this one was a total game changer for me. And if you're able to get that brush roll on sale when ColourPop starts shipping again, I would totally recommend it. I just go into the blush and I basically just like pounce it into the skin. And because it's a super shock formula, I don't think that using it over a set base is really a problem.
Yeah.
If anything, it's probably a good thing in this situation because I don't want too much pigment. I don't want super really harsh blush, but I want it to look like you can tell that I'm wearing pink blush.
I don't think those brushes are, I'm assuming they're not coming back because they've been sold out since you mentioned them last time. I just checked again. So I don't know. Also, I just wanted to say, Diana said, the thing with the French name, it's what Lady Gaga tried to do and failed. Exactly. Le failed. And thank you, Cherokee. I feel like the final, how I pulled it together, I think I'm done. Like, I think this is my final thing I'm happier with than mid-process. Mid-process, I was like, oh no, what am I doing? And now I'm like, it's good. It works. I could keep adding more blush because I have a tendency to want more, but I don't need it. Although, no. Maybe. I like doing like blush as contour, like even on my temples, which I know is a very specific look, but I don't know. It like makes me happy. Oh, thank you, Mindy. I think we both look awesome too. I love that you inspired me to do the pink with the gold palette because I feel like, you know, this is inherently very like grungy and probably veers a little bit more on the darker side than like I normally go for. But I forget that, you know, you can mix colors and play around and all of that. So it's a good palette. Like I said, nobody needs this very expensive palette, but it is a nice one. Oh, I don't think I said. Oh, go ahead.
It cut out a little bit. Did you say something?
Oh,
Emily?
I was going to say, go ahead with whatever you were going to say.
I'm going in with the shimmery side of the blush duo.
Nice.
And it's looking very, very pinky. It's looking a lot more warm pink than I was expecting. So I think I'll try to like tone this down a little bit with the big brush that comes in the ColourPop brush roll. This thing is massive. I don't know. I don't really know what they expect people to use this for because it's a very, very big brush.
I have a big brush like that I like to use with what you're doing, or I'll use it to buff in powder. So if I want to do like all over powder kind of on top, like if I'm like, oh, this is all way too overloaded, just lightly buff powder all over the face. I usually do that before I do eyes because it might mess with the eye makeup, but that's something I used to do all the time and I just haven't been doing lately. Oh, bye, yeah. Chris. It was so good to have you here. She said, gotta run and decorate the house real quick before my kid gets home from work for his birthday. Thank you for being here and happy birthday to your son. I hope it's a great day.
Happy birthday to your
son. Also, Bethany, I always wonder what I'm doing, but I proceed anyway. That's a really great life motto, actually, I have to say. Feffy says, I love that color combo. I've tried something similar, but with my Juvia's Tried palette. I should finally have the Juvia's Tribe palette, I think tomorrow or today, whenever my Ulta order finally shows up. So I'm excited about that. I have plans for it. And yes, Becky said, oh yeah. I keep talking over you. I'm sorry. You were going to say something.
Oh, yeah, the connection is really lagging for me, but I'm so excited for you to get the Tribe palette.
Yeah. Also, Feppy says, yes, blush as contour. As somebody who can't find a contour shade, I do that a lot. I just don't really like the look of what contour should be, I guess, on me. And I'm too lazy to like do that. I mean, I say I'm lazy. I'm lazy with certain steps. Like, I don't want to do certain things. And other things, I'm like, yeah, I'll spend an hour on my eye makeup because I'm just having fun. But like brows, can they just please be done? I also use my Lunar Beauty. What color is this? Mercury as my highlighter and inner corner color. So thought I would let you know. Oh, Audra says, I have a giant face. I love huge brushes. I love that.
Goodness. I topped it off with the infamous Forget Me Not highlighter.
That
to give me a little bit of extra.
The last chat when you wore it, everybody was just like, what is on your face? I think it's looking great, as always. I was debating between a more golden tone highlighter or a more pink tone highlighter today, but I went with the gold.
All right, I'm going to go in with the Super Shock on my inner corner and see how that turns out.
Oh, that's a great point, Feffy. Feffy says she has a blush that's kind of neutral colored and it works well as a slight definition of the face. Yes, I do like that. Like a softer tone. Even, Warm Honey from Cover FX is not really soft, but wait, I have it right here. But I feel like I might be using this blush in that way for... No, that's not the one. I'm just like grabbing random blushes. This is almost... I could almost use this as a bronzer too. So I'm excited to play with that one more. Yes.
I love blushes that are like that.
Yeah. Yes, that highlighter was majestic, or is majestic.
I posted to the Half Cousins Discord about the shade Blurred Buff from Bare Minerals in their Bounce and Blur line. And I really like it. I got it because Nicole Cutler was talking about it so much. And I think Mariah Leonard also talked about it too. And it's such a good cream to powder formula. It reminds me a lot of the Super Shock blushes. And I loved that sort of tone, kind of like what Feffy was saying, like a really neutral color that could technically also be like a bronzer.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a very Hannah Louise Poston color too.
Yeah, there's a really pale natural tone of one of the Marc Jacobs blushes that I was thinking about getting, but it sold out before I could get my hands on it because I felt like it was such a pretty light color. This is Warm Honey from Cover FX. So I got Spiced Cinnamon and Warm Honey in the 21 Days of Beauty. So that's Spiced Cinnamon and Warm Honey. Spiced Cinnamon I thought was going to be like a fall blush for me. It probably still will be, but this is such a pretty... It almost gives me like a sunburnt cheek because it is fairly red, but it feels summery in a way. And then Warm Honey is very bronzy on me. I wore it in one of the last lives that I did, not the last one, but the one before with Audra. But yeah, I'm happy. These are more like neutral deep for me, or I guess warm neutral for me, but I love the formula, so I'm happy to have them. And if anyone's like gun shy on these blushes. They're great eyeshadows too. So I'm excited. Actually, you know what? I remember I specifically felt like I wanted to get this reddish tone one after seeing Hannah Louise Poston and a few other people work with the Samantha March Ophir blush, because I felt like it was kind of reddish. And I felt like I would rather get this one on sale because I know I love the formula. And so I kind of want to do like one of those sculpted blush eye looks with that red tone.
I think that would look fantastic.
Beffy says, every time Mariah Leonard talks about the product, I'm like, okay, I'm listening. Cute eye emoji. I feel like with her, I sometimes feel that way, and then I sometimes don't. But I think that's more of just like my skeptical, like minimal makeup, no makeup. I feel like that's silly brain activated. It's not silly, but like sometimes my contrarian makeup brain gets activated.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry you don't have cover effects. Oh, Feffy, I'm sorry. I'm just like, these are great, and this one is great, and this one is great. And you're just like, I can't get them. Oh, Makeup X Mukbang. I love the cover effects duos. I bought them all at Ulta 21 Days. Yeah, I have 4 of them. No regrets, but also I probably don't need any more. Although if they ever release more colors, then no holds barred. I know myself. I'm like, if there's new colors that happen anytime, that's gonna be real life.
Okay, so I can't decide what I want to do on the lower lash line because I wasn't expecting. Okay, this is the whole theme of the live is that we're both doing things that we weren't really expecting to do.
Yes.
So I'm kind of like not really sure because obviously lime chrome is very, very limey on the lid, which I love. But at first, I thought that I would go in like full force with the whole pinky thing and that I would use the shade, what is this? The shade Insomnia, which the packaging is so deceiving because it looks like a much warmer pink color, but it's actually more of like a pinky purple when you swatch it up. Which I think would go really well with the crease. But a part of me is also drawn to doing what I love to do, which is an ombre waterline where I take Electric Daisy and do a gradient.
Oh, that's fun.
I use Electric Daisy much more than I ever thought I would. I feel like I use it in a lot of my looks now.
You make me want to get the neon-y ColourPop liners so much. When you held up the pink one, I thought it was Boots, which I have that one, but no, it's Insomnia. I like the ombre idea myself because I think that tying in the little green that's in lime chrome would be really cute. But I'm also partial to green. Anybody in the chat have thoughts? Pink versus green ombre?
Yes, please let me know. Okay, so I have Boots here to compare it. Boots is more like fuchsia to me. So the darker one is Boots, and this is Insomnia. Or Insomniac. Is it Insomniac? Yes, it's Insomniac. So bottom one is Insomniac, top one is Boots.
Played Feffy, but which shade? Oh. You gotta make do with the brands that YouTube's drag. Oh. So it kind of makes me think of in a much smaller way of how, speaking of the British YouTubers, how I used to watch them and like they would rave about that like collection concealer or collection 2000 concealer and like, we don't have that here. Or for a while we didn't have Soap and Glory. It's just funny. It's just like there were so many random brands and I was like, I wish I had that. And now I'm like, I don't even think about those brands.
Yeah. I know. I always wanted to try bourgeois because of their stupid little chocolate
Yeah.
bones there that look like a chocolate bar.
I remember I always wanted the bourgeois, the like velvet paints, the matte, basically liquid lipsticks that they had that were in like cute little square packaging. And back when she was Viviana Does Makeup, Anna, the Anna Edit now, she would talk about those. And I think Anna and like Lily Pebbles were like some of my biggest people that I watched the most. And they would talk about it. And they always just looked so pretty. And they would rave about the formula. And now I'm like, I'm really glad I didn't ever like try to buy those in some stupid international way, because I'm sure they're just liquid lipsticks that like I wouldn't have enjoyed that much anyway. We have a tie. One for the pink one and one for the green ombre.
Oh man. I'll probably do the green ombre, and then maybe I'll do what I did for our Amy collab. What I did for that one was I have the J Kissa eyeliner, the teal that came in her album collab, and I put it down as my base. Like I had it in my waterline, and then I layered it with the shade Ariel from Lethal. And because the Lethal shades, the shimmers from Lethal, like we've talked about it, they're not my favorite either.
Yeah.
So putting them over a colorful base like the J Kissa eyeliner was really helpful in getting it to stick, and also getting the shade, the shimmery like aqua color that it is, to show through even brighter.
Yeah,
so that was good. Maybe I'll do that.
I like the idea of like bringing in that little bit of like teal blue kind of pop with the green, just making it like a full rainbowy, almost rainbowy eye. I could also see doing the green waterline and then doing like some more pink on the actual lash line, but that might be too pink heavy for you if you're feeling a little.
Yeah, I was thinking that maybe what I could do is I could bring the darker green maybe in between the lashes and then layer lime chrome over it. I think that would be cool.
Yes, I like what you're saying there. Oh, Becky said Anna got me into the Bon Appetit Test Kitchen, so I owe her a lot. Bon Appetit Test Kitchen, like their YouTube channel is just so good. Like they definitely have issues with, in my opinion, they have issues with the amount of white people they have on camera versus non-white people, but the content they make is pretty fun. And yes, Steph, you have to come visit and bring lots of empty suitcases, and you could pre-order all kinds of indie stuff and have it sent to one of us, so that then when you get here you can just pick it up and have all the glittery pretty fun stuff. I know earlier we were talking about JD Glow and Give Me Glow, and there was conversation about texture and shiny and the pan sizes being too big, and I'm like, yeah, that's why I repressed mine, and I'm so happy. It makes me so happy. I have my little palette, Amy palette right here, with, because it's just one of my JD Glows repressed, but it's so nice all together.
I know. I had to include Good God in mine. It was calling to me.
I almost did. I almost, instead of using like the purple from Beauty Bar Baby that I used, I almost used Good God, and I was like, I would use that in every single palette creation ever made if I don't somehow control myself. So I control myself just a tiny bit. I was actually amazed that I pulled in Anomaly, because I usually think it's too like blue for my taste, but I think there is something about it being in a smaller pan makes me like, it like makes me want to play with them more. Ooh, Fecky. Bon Appetit is doing a YouTube live stream on my birthday. I'm not saying they're doing it in my honor, but I'm also not saying that. It's totally in your honor. Absolutely. Oh,
absolutely.
you could find some great used bookstores here in, I mean, I don't know where you'd be visiting in the United States, but there are some great used bookstores that you could raid and get a bunch of books that are minimally used.
So I don't know if you all can tell, but the mascara combo that I live by now is putting on a layer of the CoverGirl Exhibitionist waterproof mascara and then layering the Essence Lash Princess waterproof on top. Let me get up close so you can tell. So this is just the CoverGirl one by itself. I curled my lashes and it looks good. Like it's good for natural makeup days or just like when I don't feel like layering this whole thing. And this is the side with the Essence and the
Wow.
CoverGirl. Like, oh my God, fuck me up.
I wish, I love the Essence waterproof. I bought the CoverGirl Exhibitionist and I ended up like having to get rid of it because the brush is just too big for my little eyes. So I do find that this one gets a little, so I don't know if I just need, like, I don't know if I've just worn this one to pieces and that's why it's gotten clumpy, or if it just gets clumpier quicker than some other brands that I've had. But I do think it might be time for me to retire this one because it does make my lashes a little clumpier than, like, it makes them clumpy kind of quickly, but I still love it. I just, for so long, I think before I was wearing, I'm going to put more mascara on now that I say that. For so long, I was wearing like mascaras with little fine brushes, like Japanese mascaras or even bottom lash line mascaras. And I still love tiny brushes, but this one is just so good and so cheap that I've come to embrace more voluminous, clumpy lashes in exchange. And I'm also come to embrace the fact that I will probably have mascara all over my eye area before I finish my mascara application these days. Not bad.
Emily, do you remember what you did for your 25th birthday?
Oh, my 25th. See, I've never been a huge birthday person, like in terms of going out or anything, or having like big bashes, at least not as an adult. And I think for me, it's because my birthday is right around Thanksgiving. So most people, like, I feel like almost every year, like friends that I would really want to have at a birthday thing are out of town because it's Thanksgiving. So I was probably just like having dinner out with some friends and drinks. 25. Yeah. I was living in New York at the time. But yeah, I've just never, not never. I just, as I've become a true adult, as I kind of left college, I should say that, I pretty much have just had very chill birthdays from my memory. Actually, God, now I'm trying to think. 25. I did have like a few parties here and there here in New York, but pretty soon on, I was like, they're too much effort for, not lack of return, but like, I'd rather just keep it low key, I guess. But yeah. Oh, Feffy says that looks, I think talking about your mascara, Alex, that looks great. I'm running out of my Essence mascara and no store that is open sells it. Not to be fake dramatic, but this might ruin my future plans for quarantine looks. Oh no. That is not fun, I have to say. Oh, and Feffy also said if both of your Amy inspired palettes were available for purchase, I would be like, screw international shipping. I'll go broke. I don't care. I need them. Oh, it was really fun to create. Um,
They were really fun. My God, they were challenging to put together for both us. We were DMing each other like, "What do you think of this?" Kind of bouncing ideas off of each other
yeah,
before we finally came to the final product.
yeah, for sure. I felt like I have so many purples and purples that I love, but when I started really mixing them together and also leaning into that blue purple that I felt like was so iconic to the Alma palette, that it was just like became a challenge. But I am glad that I kept working on it, because I think back to the first few versions and I wouldn't have been very happy with that. Um, oh, and Mindy,
Right.
that's a great tip. I totally understood what you meant. She uses different brushes than mascara, meaning she'll like save the brushes and use them. Um, I just don't have the patience for that, to be honest. Like the times when I have saved the brush, they usually don't fit in the same way. So I have to keep the brush separate and kind of clean it every single time I use it, because otherwise the mascara just builds up on there and anything. Fefi said, I've never done anything special for for a milestone birthday. I was lamenting that on Twitter the other day since I'm turning 35. So here's the thing. Here's the thing that I want to do. I really just want to travel any birthday that I can, because and I'm pretty much a solo traveler, but to me like that's what I want to do. And part of it is because it's a holiday and I kind of like the escape from like the holiday grind, and part of it is because I love to travel and see places and I can kind of eat a nice meal or have drinks or whatever, and it's just something I like to do. But I don't know. I feel and I think because I have had a couple of birthdays where like I hyped my own self up and like I planned something and then I kind of had it fall through, or I had people cancel. And so that bummer, that was big enough that I was like, I don't I don't want to stress about it. I don't want to plan for something big and then have friends like flake or have family stuff come up because of the timing or whatever. So yeah, that's my thing. Um, Diana,
When did you have your trip to Barcelona?
that was in late September, early October. But but I would like it'd be nice to like always travel to somewhere warm, because in November it's usually cold enough already that I'm like, I'm already over this. Maybe this coming year, but maybe not because of everything going on in the world. Although my birthday this year, it's the Monday of the week of Thanksgiving, and my two like close friends who I always do like we've been doing Thursday night hangout dinner together during everything going on, over like Google Hangouts. We've been like every week talking about like we're gonna do something big for Thanksgiving. We're gonna have a blowout. Like we're just like making big plans for far enough down the road that will hopefully not fall through. So, and by big plans, it might mean like renting a house in upstate New York where we can just like hang out and cook and drink together, that kind of thing. Also, I wanted to say,
Yeah.
so Diana said the Amy palette is so beautiful. It's a shame everything that happened. It just sucks. And makeup by a makeup ex mukbang asked what happened. We talked about this in one of our streams before. Basically, the brand owner was messy, and there was issues with shipping, or and how the product was shipped. So product was showing up broken, and there was issues with customers actually being able to get replacements or refunds. And then there was other things that were not fully exposed online, that seemed like there was a lack of payment or payment issues from the brand to Amy. And then all of a sudden the brand like deleted every bit of existence of the Alma palette from their Instagram, and then kind of went silent. So like I don't know.
Yeah.
And yeah. So it just seemed like it's a brand that I don't trust, and I would personally not buy from in the future. I've never bought from them, but I wanted the Alma palette and I just couldn't afford it. And I wanted it for months, and then by the time I kind of could afford it, I had heard enough that I was like, I think I'm just not gonna do that right now. And then it just kind of all blew up. So yeah, and the thing is that I've heard, like the other things, basically Amy the creator is far too classy and maybe cautious to say much online, but when fellow creator friends who have probably heard the full scope say they will never buy from that brand, it kind of makes it very clear to me. So that's my take on it. Like Angelica said, there was an indie brand she would never ever buy from, and she didn't say the brand name, but I'm putting two and two together personally. But I read into things, so you know. Feffy said, my birthday is an international holiday, except in the US, and everything is closed because it's mandated by law with no business open. So it's usually people can't hang out with me. Oh. So that's the thing, is I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it's always a struggle. Yeah. There's been several like smaller beauty YouTubers that cover indie stuff that have talked about it or talked around it. Yeah, and Amy, would never just like bash. Are you having lip issues?
Yes, I can't figure out what I want to do for my lip color because I want to wear the hot sauce lip gloss because I love them.
I mean, I can see a more neutral lip with that, or maybe like a pinky neutral. I don't know if that's what you're trying to create.
Yeah, something that, like, I don't know, because I have peachy neutrals, but I don't know if that's really what I want. So more jouet stuff that I would not, well, I went through a phase where I really, really wanted to, like, get into jouet. Like, I got a sample at Sephora a long time ago of their foundation because it was, like, full coverage, matte. Like, I wanted to try it. And I didn't like it. They didn't have anything that went well with my undertones. A lot of their foundations pulled very pink, whereas I'm more neutral, leaning yellow. So I was just like, this isn't really happening for me. And then I got the blush bouquet in Adore, which I like, but I don't use it as much as I would like to. I think I was hoping that the pigment of the lighter side, because it's so pale, that's what like drew me to it.
Yeah.
I wish that it was a little bit more pigmented, but it was still good. And then I got these little shine balms. Maybe this one will work because it's a neutral. Yeah, I think this could work.
That's pretty. Although I do like the pinky purple recommendation
I just want
from Cherokee for lips to tie in with the eyes.
Yeah, I thought about doing that, but I didn't want anything that would be like too distracting because I went a little bit more bold with my blush. Yeah, for anyone who was interested in these, I don't think they're bad. The shade that I put on is I think it's pronounced amaryllis. Can you focus?
No.
I can't really see it. It's amaryllis. It's the most like browny, taupey shade out of all of them. And I have kept it through all of my declutters because I don't have anything quite like this. And the Flesh Hot Sauce lip gloss that I have is in the number 315. I think it's like something blurred, like the actual verbal name for it is like something blurry or blurred flurry or something like that. Yeah, I'm really interested in seeing what you think of the formula. I know the color that you got is a slightly darker, like more wine color, but they all look fairly sheer. So hopefully you like the formula, even if the color is not really your jam.
Yeah, I figured it's worth. It was kind of worth trying. I was like, okay, for oh, Steamed Blurry is the name. I just looked it up for you for that hot sauce lip gloss.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, I'll give it a try and we'll just see. And Fefi, that's why I keep reaching for my Milani glosses, because I'm like this one looks very pink, but it's really like a sheer pink, not quite popsicle because it doesn't apply that same way. And then this is super nude, and I'm like, this one, mix them. That's the answer. That's the answer. Or like a peachy nude, like the Lip Bar Baby Bellini or Urban Decay, the which cream? I think oh god, now I don't remember. One of the Urban Decay cream ones I have. And yes, I do think it's a shame about the Amy thing, because she did put the brand on a lot of people's radar and people bought. And I had heard about that brand before, but this was the first time I'd really been close enough. I really wanted to buy something. But shit happens, unfortunately. It's messed up, but I feel like, I don't know. I feel like, what can you do besides just like live and learn? And hopefully anybody that had issues can have already done like credit card, like call the bank and ask for credit card reversal kind of things. But it's a gorgeous color story, and that was why I wanted it so much. I was like, it's just so pretty and textural and all of that. And the fact that it was like a collab with Amy made a difference. But honestly, if I had seen the color story and didn't know it was from Amy, I would still want it. But but it did make a difference. So anyway, I'm glad we made our palettes, and I actually think it kind of satiated my like any of the desires for that palette. I'm like, I'm good. I made something. It was a challenge to put together, but I like what I made. And yes, you're like an instant model, Alex, when you took your hair down and shook it out.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. Oh, Cherokee, I really appreciate the sweet words. Yeah, I feel like we talked about it, but the whole thing with Amy made me pretty sad. Especially because I feel like that's like for sure for me like a parasocial relationship, because I don't get to talk to Amy that much, but she did follow me on Instagram and I have DM'd her and we like DM'd back and forth, and she likes a lot of my pictures, and I feel like we're best friends, not best friends. I feel like we're good friends.
Yeah.
And I feel connected because her birthday was a couple days ago and mine is today. So it's like I feel bonded with people who are around my birthday, because I'm like, I'm sure we would belong, right?
Yeah, I mean, even when you pulled out the Jouet bomb, I had the great fortune of getting to meet up with Amy, Karen, and Angelica when they were in town for, I think it was Ipsy Live back in October. We did brunch, and then like after brunch, Karen, Amy, and I ended up at Sephora, of course. And Amy actually bought one of those bombs. She had been like debating about it the whole weekend and bought one of the Jouet like color lip balms. And so as soon as she pulled it out, I was like, oh, speaking of Amy, like made me think of her. So I don't know. It's interesting. But it's tough when you see these things happen and you're like, I don't know the exact details, but I know enough that it makes me frustrated and angry for the person involved. Let's see. Feffy, the Amy thing broke my heart because I watched her vid and she put so much thought into it. Exactly. And I agree that parasocial relationships definitely boosted the sales and probably are what led the brand to, in a way, to being overwhelmed. Not that that's anything to blame of Amy, the creator, but I think that they underestimated her maybe, which is quite funny because I'm like, you don't underestimate powerful women. That's all I'm gonna say. She might be more soft spoken, but she's still a powerful woman. And Audra's probably either walking
Yeah.
bow or napping, knowing her. And Minnie said the green eyeliner is bomb. It does look really good. I like that finished combo.
Thank you. I'll give you a little up close look. So here is what the lash line ended up looking like. I layered a little bit of lime chrome over my ombre. But yeah, I have lime chrome on the lid, and then I have the two green eyeliners are both from ColourPop. Lighter green is Electric Daisy, and the darker one is Teaspoon. A lot of them were on their like last call page, so I don't know if they're planning on reformulating them again, or if it's because like they actually are getting discontinued. I hope they don't, because they're very good colors.
Yeah, it was weird. I saw at one point in time recently, right before everything hit with wait, I just have to laugh. Audra, I literally just woke up. I dozed off a bit because Bo was lying on me. Welcome back.
Oh.
And I think it's weird with the ColourPop. I don't know. I think that's one of my constant like criticism of ColourPop is that I feel like they're constantly like duping themselves and like reformulating or discontinuing something and releasing a new palette that has like all the same colors in it. So considering how they just kind of recently redid the packaging on the eyeliners, like changing them from the white with the colored tip to like the packaging matching the pencil color, I don't know. I think it would be really silly of them to like, I mean, if they reformulate and they're like a million times better, maybe that's worth it. Maybe that was a good call, but I just generally think that it's like overkill with how they cycle
Yeah,
product.
I agree. I don't know. I was not into the most recent collection that they launched through Ulta.
No.
She's got this and the other one. I don't even remember what the
It was
other
all
one was called.
solstice themed.
They were they were just to me, and I felt like it makes me upset because I know that they must have some parameters when it comes to their Ulta.
Enjoy Taco Tuesday. Have a good day.
Yes. The fact that I'm making fried avocado tacos was perfect timing for Taco Tuesday.
Wait, but what were you gonna say about like Ulta and parameters with ColourPop? I was curious.
Oh, just saying, like, I wonder if Ulta has parameters for ColourPop's releases that they have for like Ulta exclusive stuff. Like, are they how much are they able to experiment with like creativity? Because let's be real, aside from the monochromatic ones, they don't have very many interesting colors, even though they have all of the resources to make all kinds of colorful stories if they want to.
Yeah.
And I know that it's not everybody's preference and everything, but if you're talking accessibility, which is what Ulta would allow you to have because people can get in stores, I feel like they should go out of the box more because so many of their Ulta exclusive palettes are kind of news fed.
Well, I wonder if it's so my first like couple of jobs here when I moved to New York out of college was working for like a private label like clothing company. So even like the sweater, like I bought the sweater today. This is something that's sold as one of the Target brand lines. But Target might be a little different, but let's say you're in a Macy's or a JCPenney or something. They have one of their brands that's like, you know, I don't know, some Jane's Closet, I don't know. But it's like made, but it's kind of like a JCPenney brand. So most of the time, those brands basically they're going to these bigger apparel companies and they're buying designs from that brand's line. And depending on like how much money this company tends to spend with you, like is where these private label companies will like bend to the will. So for somebody like Ulta, you know, ColourPop might present them with, okay, let's say Ulta normally buys 10 collections. They might present them with like 50 options of different ideas that they put together just for Ulta because they want to give this brand the most opportunity to buy from them, the most chances. So Ulta might end up only picking 6 and say, ask for another 10 to be slightly altered and give them another idea, like come back to them with new ideas. And depending on ColourPop, they might do this format, they might not. But when I was working at this private label company, we would oftentimes like bust our ass making so many extra designs for our biggest clients for them to pick from, because we wanted to make sure they were happy. We would edit, we would change color stories, we would do all this stuff just to like give them this like huge packet of options that hopefully they could find enough from that they would be happy with, and maybe they would only buy from us for their whole line. That usually didn't happen, but that was like the goal. So part of me thinks that maybe with Ulta, ColourPop is just like throwing everything at the wall, from the most basic bitch neutral slight variations of existing palettes to more colorful things, and Ulta is saying, we're going to take these 10 things. And yes, we did pick all the mauve and lilac and nude. Deal with it. Like, so that might be the thing. And if let's say they pick out 10 things and one of the things they picked out is a butterfly theme, then ColourPop can then say, like, not to Ulta, but within their own company, okay, we're already producing something butterfly themed for Ulta. Do a slight spin-off for it, and that'll be our personal like ColourPop version. So I don't know, that's how I perceive that kind of thing. But I wonder how much control ColourPop has. Like, I wonder if ColourPop can like if they are, I wonder if Ulta is more open to ColourPop giving them whatever, like in terms of more experimental things, or if it's really Ulta leading the show and picking more of these safe, neutral things where they know that like a mom could buy it, or her teen daughter could buy it, or a boyfriend could buy it for his girlfriend, like just safe shit. I don't know. It's interesting because they also carry like Juvia's Place and BH Cosmetics and Makeup Revolution, who all do brightly colored makeup, all at the drugstore price point. So I don't know. My little tangent on buying and creating. I really wonder how similar or dissimilar makeup is to like clothing and fashion in terms of the private label kind of sales kind of things. I don't know.
Right.
And yeah, and Diana, that's fair. A lot of international, you know, people are like, I buy from ColourPop because they ship, you know, and I can usually find a free shipping or a discounted shipping fee for them. I just am not very happy with their actual quality, so I don't feel as inspired to buy from them myself.
I'm going to leave the chat really quick and try to do it again on my laptop because the connection on my end is a little spotty, so I will be right back. Okay.
Anyway, I know I went off on a tangent about ColourPop. If y'all have any thoughts on what I said, or if you're just like, whatever, we just like makeup. And I didn't really do a close-up for my eye look, although I don't know how much you can see. I did the pink all over with lime chrome on the lid and the turquoise, and then some of that white gold on the inner corner along with the mustard to lighten it up. Maybe that's a little That might be a little better. And the stars. Always the stars. Thanks, Wendy. I don't know. I think about that sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, okay, are they only buying, is Ulta only buying the neutral stuff? Or, oh, Diana, interesting. Interesting you should ask. I just bought some Linda Hallberg stuff, or Linda Hallberg, because she had a 30% off sale, and I finally had some spare cash to buy some things. So I will be trying my first Linda Hallberg products whenever they show up. I'm intrigued to see. I did buy some eyeliners because that's the thing that is what I've been wanting, and one of the glossy lip sticks, and I bought one of her eye brush sets, and I'm not sure why I bought it. No, I know why I bought it. I bought it because there's a little liner brush in there that I'm intrigued by, but it was a very sporadic purchase, so I'm excited to try it. And thank you, Mindy. The turquoise, like the thing that I do really enjoy about this palette is that lime chrome does layer really nicely over other colors, like over the turquoise, so it becomes more of that green tone. Oh, that was weird. Sometimes I can see the reflection of the stars in my glasses and it just tripped me out. Yeah, I got the Mood crayon box, the bright colors, so I'll see what I think about it. We shall see. There you go. I'm gonna add. Hello.
Hello. I'm finally not blown out in front of my window.
So Makeup X Mukbang asks, what was the dupe for Lime Chrome? I don't need that whole palette, or do I? I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money because $130 for an eyeshadow palette is no joke.
Yeah.
If you are somebody that likes single eyeshadows or will use single eyeshadows, then Vanessa's Vanity, which is an indie brand, has a single eyeshadow called Samba that is a dupe for Lime Chrome.
Yeah.
The other color that I've seen around, if you are somebody that will reach for like eyeshadows in cream pots, Touch in Soul has some like cream eyeshadows. I'm looking them up right now. I want to make sure I'm telling you, one, a product that still exists, at least on their website, and two, that I tell you maybe the right name. One moment. I don't know if this is for sure a dupe, but I think Lauren May Beauty had this or got it in a BoxyCharm, and it looked very, very similar. And I feel like she mentioned it looking similar.
I was going to say too, depending on your stance when it comes to dupe brands, it might be worth looking into getting the Alter Ego Goddess palette, because Amy and Julia Mazzucato and a few other creators, and even Hannah Louise Poston, have all said that the quality of it is good. If you're looking for that similar color story. As far as like Lime Chrome goes, I don't know how, I mean, I think Amy said that the one in the Alter Ego palette was decent, but that I think the Vanessa's Vanity one was probably more like impactful.
And the Touch and Soul one is, it's their Metalist Sparkling Foil Pigment, and the color is Sun Aurora. I actually have the dupe brand one. Somebody gave it to me as a gift, and I haven't touched it yet because I already had this, and I felt like I didn't need to do that kind of comparison for YouTube, and I kind of felt like I should try to find a home for it with somebody, because it felt kind of silly, like putting my grubby little fingers into it when I have this one. But yeah, I would say it looked pretty good. I looked at it. To me, the Lime Chrome dupe didn't look as impressive in pan, but who knows when you apply it to the eye.
Mm-hmm.
Diana says, I've been lusting over some of her products and was sad because she sells her stuff on Beauty Bay, and I got burned by them once and never buying them again. You're talking about Linda Hallberg? She sells directly from her site. That's how I bought from her this time, because she was having a sale directly on her site. And since she's based, I know she's not based in the US, she's, I think, Swedish, so she ships internationally. I'm not sure what the shipping rates are, but I made kind of not a huge, I made a big enough purchase to get free shipping, I should say. Oh, nice, Mindy. Mindy found a green palette from Hard Candy that has an awesome lime in it. So the thing with lime chrome is, to me, it's not really lime. It's like lime, gold, red, brown, kind of. I don't know. It's called lime chrome, and it does look fairly green on the eyes, but it can also look gold and more like, I don't know. But I'm sure if you're just looking for like straight up lime, then, there's probably a million options out there too. I haven't bought from Hard Candy in a very long time.
I don't think I've ever bought from Hard Candy at all. I think, aren't they currently like Walmart exclusive?
Yeah, they've been there for years now. I think I tried a few things from them and was very disappointed with everything. So we don't have, since there's not a Walmart here in the New York City area, anything that's like exclusively Walmart is just kind of out of my reach, because I don't really like to shop online too much with them.
Yeah, they used to be like weren't they really popular and sold in department stores like a long time ago, when they were known for their nail polishes and the little jelly rings that came on top?
I talked about that. I definitely talked about that in a video, because the nail polishes with the jelly ring was the first like makeup item that I lusted after.
Mm-hmm.
And were only in the like the department stores, like behind a little glass counter. And they had like weird, like edgy names at the time for their nail polishes, names like Trailer Trash. And it's just funny because I remember lusting after them for so long, and finally one day my mom agreed to buy one for me for some special situation. I got it, and it was one of those rings where, like, even at the time, my little fat fingers, it would be like putting a ring like this, like it would like fit here, and, like it would like fit like maybe on the pinky ring, or and it was before the era of like cute rings above the knuckle, and so I remember lusting after it for so long, and then getting the jelly ring and being like, oh, you're not even cute on my hands. And I'm like, and the makeup marketing has worked from a young age.
Yeah. I can't remember if there was ever something like that I ever lusted after, because I think I talked during our first live stream about how my mom used to use a ton of Clinique products. Mm-hmm. Like, she was pretty hardcore on like base products and foundation powders from Clinique for a while. So I don't remember if there was ever anything that I really wanted or lusted after when I was a kid, because my mom and my grandma, I think I mentioned, were both like pretty moderate makeup wearers. They were definitely in the camp of people who wear makeup to like enhance natural features and just kind of like bump yourself up like a couple notches, rather than like doing what we just did in this Get Ready With Me. But yeah, my grandma used to use a lot of like free gift with purchase type makeup. She would have like eyeshadow. She had a couple of eyeshadow palettes from Estee Lauder that I ended up bringing over into my bathroom to try and experiment with different types of eyeshadows. Mm-hmm. And I think for a while I wasn't attracted to colorful eyeshadows because it was like completely polar opposites in terms of what I had access to. So I had these like random really muted, like so muted to where it was kind of like it might as well have been a palette full of gray and taupe eyeshadows with slight variances in undertone, to these like MAC singles that I told you about that my mom and my aunt had collected with all these like, you know, wild colors that didn't the colors together didn't really have a cohesive color story. So anytime I tried to experiment with color, it's like I was wearing 50 shades of taupes and grays, or it looked like I, you know, got into a fight with a paint gun.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, Mindy, so does anybody remember Hard Candy Shadows, the tubes? They were freaking awesome. Those Hard Candy in the test tube looking containers were the first really bright shadows. No, I don't remember those.
Me neither.
But again, I feel like I didn't see the Hard Candy kind of in between the department store and like Walmart. Like I feel like I knew them in the department store as like edgy, like I knew them before I knew Urban Decay kind of, and then like I feel like they just kind of disappeared and then they reemerged, you know, in Walmart, and I would hear about them a little bit because from YouTubers, but not really, not really much. Yeah, they started in 1995, which makes sense because it was like right in the like my preteen to teenage years were like when they were.
Wow, so they're 25 too.
Yeah. Oh, and you know what? In like 99, they got acquired by LVMH, which owns like Sephora and Donna Karan and all those big brands, and then got sold off to. Oh, and then 2009, that's when they started in Walmart. Okay, that kind of makes sense. I feel like there was like 10 to 15 years where I was just like, I don't know Hard Candy anymore. And then, yeah, I tried a couple of products and I was just like, these are bad. I'm not going to buy
It's like you're questioning it. Like, this is bad?
Because I feel like I would see like Emily Noel and a couple of other YouTubers mention things like certain sprays of theirs or this or that. And I think I tried some things and I was just like, this is all a big no from me.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever used anything from Hard Candy, but it seemed like they were kind of in the same category as like Wet n Wild. They gave me like a similar feel, but I don't know if they're similar in price points. For some reason, I feel like Hard Candy is still a little bit more expensive because Wet n Wild and Elf to me are kind of like the most affordable end of drugstore affordable makeup.
I think both Wet n Wild and Elf though have creeped up, and I would think off the top of my head that they're probably comparable, like all three, Hard Candy, Wet n Wild, and Elf. But I haven't like stood in an aisle and compared the three prices. But I do feel like generally speaking, drugstores prices have kind of creeped up across the board.
Yeah.
I don't know how Elf is still doing the those $3 quads, but I think I was even looking at like, I feel like when I bought this brush originally, it was like, I felt like it was like a $4 brush, and now I don't think it's anywhere near $4, but I could be wrong. I don't know. This is my very beat up brush that I need to replace. I
that's
pulled
the
it out
one you said was
recently.
peeling.
I was like, oh no, you are unpleasant to use. Oh yeah, and Wet n Wild does have a new line just for Walmart. I mean, it's their Halloween line. It's their Fantasy Makers line. It's just going to be like available year round at Walmart. And so it's going to have like pressed glitters and quads and all the stuff that they would bring out around Halloween. I feel like it's that kind of stuff in that line.
Yeah.
Which makes sense for like preteens and teenagers. If I had that accessible to me when I was like, you know, if I had that always accessible to me, that would be amazing when I was a little one. But now I'm like, no thanks.
So for anyone who actually keeps up with my manicure posts,
Yeah.
you have I'll give y'all an exclusive little sneak peek of what my next manicure is going to be. This is Arosa's polish in Desert Rose. And it's a really cool toned pink. They describe it on the website as having like a violet undertone. And I don't know how high quality the image will be on my computer, but I painted little daisies near the cuticles.
I was noticing it earlier. I was like, those are so cute.
I was inspired to do the blue centers because the shade of pink reminds me of the same shade of pink of Mandy's dress from The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy on Cartoon Network, and she had a little daisy on her dress that had like blue in the middle with like yellow petals. So I'm like, why not? Let's just take it there.
It also matches your eye look.
Yes, I just realized that.
Earlier when you were holding up your finger, I was like, oh, the eyeshadow you picked and the pink on the nail really go together, but with like the yellow and the blue all together, it definitely looks like they are purposely paired together.
Oh, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do for my eyeshadow series on this color. I forgot who it was. Oh, her name is Summer. I met her in San Francisco during Angelica's meetup, and I was DMing her because she also shares a love of nail polish. Yeah. And we were like bouncing ideas off of each other, and she was saying that because this kind of pink is a very like Barbie pink, I could just take it there, and I could pair it with like blue and yellow and just like really take it there. So I think I might do that. I might pair it. I'm thinking of pairing it with that weird electric turquoise blue in the Strawberry Dream palette.
Ooh, yes.
And kind of just like using Strawberry Dream as like a jumping off point, like mixing it with a little bit of blues and like maybe some yellow or gold. That might be good.
I also love that like icy blue. What it reminds me of, which is why I decided not to get it, is cookie dough from Looksy Beauty. That like icy blue that's in Strawberry Dreams. That would be like a beautiful, like really strong inner corner, maybe blended out to the matte blue or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it's like such a cool. You can't even see it really, but it's such a cool like. There's something about that kind of high like intensity thing that feels very like 80s Barbie kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Your daisy also made me think of Heather Morehouse recently did a daisy eye look.
Yes.
Created the daisy on her eye.
I saw that. It was really cute. I started following her not that long ago. I think I found her from her review of the Melt Radioactive palette. She's so cute. I like watching her content a lot, and she's so awesome to see the looks that she does on Instagram as well.
Yeah. Also, I hope you have a pink, like a purpley pink lip for your Barbie look. That's what I want to see.
Oh yeah.
That's what I think would look really cute, like a really like glossy pink, purpley pink lip.
Yeah, I have the one that I used. You remember the look that I did that was, it was like that violety purple color that I did after me and you had that conversation about not wearing bright lips with bright eyeshadow anymore. That is a look that lipstick is the one that I was talking about. I think Fefi said she also had it. It's one of the only non-cruelty free things that I still have around, and it's because I haven't found a dupe for it. It's the Revlon Ultra HD gel lipstick that comes in the long slim tubes, and it's in the shade HD Blossom, and it's the perfect like orchid pink bordering purple type of color. Yeah. I love that formula. I've been so into the Revlon lip butters, like balmy sheer lipstick trend for such a long time, and I'm really happy that it's making a comeback because I mean, I am all for having a long wearing lipstick, but because I'm a compulsive lip balm wearer, I would much rather have my lips be glossy balmy than be matte and kind of uncomfortable. Yeah. So that formula was really, really good. And I'm hoping that I can find something in the near future that replicates it.
I know. I feel like that was also like the height of like when I first was really getting into maybe YouTube and definitely beauty. The lip butters were like my shit. I feel like I bought
Yes,
so many of them.
they were so good.
And like I even look back and I feel like I have a really old Instagram post where I had like a pink and an orange one, and I would wear them. I would do like orange on my top lip and pink on my bottom lip. And like this was before I knew of like what ombre
Yeah.
was or whatever. And,
You were years ahead of the curve.
because they were creamy, they would just kind of like meld together into like their own color.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I'm just like, oh yeah, that formula. That's why I picked up. So I think when you stepped away, somebody asked about Linda Hallberg Cosmetics, and I put in an order recently that I should get soon, and I'm getting one of her Fantasticks, which is like a glossy,
Mhm.
like and I know it's a little bit more on the high end side, but if it has that like moisturizing formula, because that's my thing. I've talked to you about this all the time.
Mhm.
I feel like there are so many like sheer balmy things that have some color to them that are just uncomfortable on the lips. They're just not moisturizing for me. And
Yeah.
so I'm super happy to like never put a matte liquid lipstick on my lips ever again. But at the same time, I want these like balmy things to be moisturizing so that if I'm reapplying them on a regular basis, I'm not just like drying my lips out worse. Because that's what I used to find,
Yeah.
is that I would like reapply to like re-up the color and the shine. And by the end of the day, I would just feel like my mouth is just like peeling from
Mhm.
that. I never bought the Revlon, the skinny ones, because at that point in time I was kind of trying to be cruelty free, not fully, but I kept hearing great things about them. And
One of the things that you just reminded me of when we were talking about matte liquid lipsticks,
yeah.
I realized that the first indie brand that I bought from was not ColourPop. It was actually Lime Crime. Yeah. And this was my sophomore year of college. They were actually the first brand that I ever like a makeup thing that I ever bought online as well. I had never like shopped really for makeup online, and it was like the first hit of like dopamine. I'm just like, wow, I'm like getting a gift for myself. I'm getting it in the mail at my PO box at school, and I bought it myself with like my brand spanking new debit card. Whoa, big woman on campus with my debit card, first purchase online for makeup. And it was from Lime Crime. And unfortunately, my card was involved in that whole like security breach that they had. And I was really salty about it. And then afterwards, like I ended up stumbling across all of the negative things that people were saying about the brand. And I'm like, oh, this was not, this wasn't it, Chief. They had the two items I got were, I got one of the bullet lipsticks in the original like vibrant purple plastic bullet packaging with the unicorn on it.
I remember lusting after those for years.
Yeah, and I got the color geranium, and I got it because ShanXO had done a swatch video, a lip swatch video, and it was the brightest blue-toned, borderline Pepto-Bismol type pink color. But
Yeah.
I wanted to pull it off so bad, but I think the undertone was just slightly too white for me, that it just wasn't really gonna work. But I kept it around for a long time before decluttering it. And then that was also the first time I'd ever used a matte liquid lipstick. I got one of their Velveteens in the shade Suede Berry. And that was like, again, like way more bright fluorescent, out of my comfort zone, like neon hot red orange, like paint almost. And it was very, very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think I definitely lusted after Lime Crime for years, but I never bought from them. And then I started hearing all these things about just not even the credit card breach, but like about Doe Deer. And
Yeah.
I was like, well, I'm glad I didn't go down that road. And also, I just did a deep dive into my Instagram. Holy wow. Lip butters were from 8 years ago. The post that I found was from almost 8 years to this day, April 27th.
Wow.
Wait, I'm going to do a screen share because now I'm just like, I want to show the ridiculousness of, oh wait. Actually, I don't know. I'm going to show the entire screen. That's probably weird, but that was the post.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
That was Emily. And
I had that berry color too. I loved that one. I think it looks like it was raspberry pie.
I still miss my neon bag. And where was it? I just saw it. And I was like, I think I have a lipstick problem. Oh my gosh. Oh, the beginning. I might have a lip problem. July 2012.
Wow.
So I'm going to stop sharing the screen because I think that would slow everything down. But that was me in 2012. Oh yeah, Buffy confession. And I bought a gazillion liquid lipsticks because the big YouTuber was like them, but it was never super into the forever lipstick binge. I tried real hard with liquid lipsticks, and I finally realized that bullet lipsticks are totally my jam. Yes, that berry shade, that was such a pretty, like, juicy color. And then the Tarte lip product that was in the second picture was my first like formula. But it was one of their matte crayons. And I still stand by it. Like, I feel like that was a great formula. But I don't even know if they're making those anymore. Anyway, I walked down memory lane. Now I need to look into that Ultra HD gel formula and see if I can find any dupes for you that people talk about. Not that I know it very well. Oh no. What happened? Alex was just like, bye. Let's see if she comes back.
Hello.
I was like, oh, you're just like, bye, I'm leaving.
Oh no, the audio on your side still sounds like it's a little staticky. Like it got weird after you did your screen share.
Oh no. No. Do I sound that? Oh, we both sound that bad. Oh. Okay. Better? We should probably stop.
It still sounds kind of staticky.
Okay. No.
Is this volume any better? I at least want to use it to leave. And if not,
Yeah,
we'll
it
just
does
leave.
sound better. Yeah.
Because I hear you breaking up on my end, Alex. I think we're probably reached the end of our YouTube allowance, whatever that means.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Alex's Instagram is linked in the description box. Please go check her out. Give her a follow. And anything else, if you have questions or whatever, feel free to leave it in a comment. And thank you for hanging out with us for so long. Like the stream if you enjoyed it, even though we're glitching out pretty bad right now. I'd appreciate that. And anything else that you want to know, feel free to reach out. I'm on Instagram. We're both on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. And oh no, but I think Alex's volume is still probably glitchy, so I think we are going to just wrap it up. But sorry, I was just reading the chat. But thank you everybody for hanging out with us, and we'll see you soon. I'll be streaming on Kara's channel with Kara and Audra tomorrow, and Audra's channel on Thursday for her birthday, so I hope to see all y'all around. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Bye, friends.
Bye. Thank you for the birthday wishes.